are listening to Voice of the Fans Sportscast, brought to you by none other than the voices of the fans.
Oh, Canada.
Live on YouTube for Wednesday, the 29th of July. I'm Randy Cooray. This is Voice of the Fans Canada. Thank you so much for joining us. If you have downloaded tonight's episode, thank you so much for that download at VOF Canada on most social media platforms, being Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Threads, and TikTok. It is the dog days of summer, but there is a lot to get into. The trade deadline for Major League Baseball is less than a week away. Tonight's panel is eagerly awaiting what will happen, especially with the likes of Gosman, Springer, and Skubal. What is Kawhi coming to Toronto? We do have some breaking news that the investigation into potential payments to Kawhi Leonard may take up until the year 2027. The King has found a new throne. LeBron James, of course, is going to Philadelphia. And what would that mean for the Eastern Conference, the Toronto Raptors, Detroit Pistons, and the NBA as a whole? And hey, the NFL season is getting that much closer to begin. The Roundtable has assembled for this evening, and Neel Katarey is back with us once again. Neel, how are you?
Doing well, Randy. How you doing?
Not too bad. Not too bad. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been a good minute since we had our next panelist up from one RC to another. He is from the mothership, if you will, of Voice of the Fans Sportscast in Mississippi. It's really great to see him again, and he's actually doing some great social media influencing from a motivational standpoint. Ronnie, RC Clark is here. RC, great to see you again. What's going on?
What's up, fellas? Man, great to be back with you guys, man. Always good to link up with you guys and talk sports and other things.
No, most definitely. It has been too long. Really glad to see you're doing well. And joining us for the first time is a broadcaster, a budding broadcaster that is all things Detroit Rock City. He is a gamer whose TikTok platform is CC Curtis 3974. His name is Chris Curtis, and he is joining us as well. Chris, pleasure to meet you. How are you?
Pleasure's mine, sir. Appreciate you having me on. A lot of things to get to, a lot of good things going on, not just in the Detroit scene, but in the national scene as well. Looking forward to breaking it all down and giving some good viewpoints.
Absolutely. And I mean, hey, since you are, so close to our border, I'm pretty sure that you haven't traveled on the Gordie Howe Bridge yet. But, if anybody has taken a venture over that way and headed along mine and Neel's part of the world?
Not that I know of, no. Seeing as how it just opened, I only know of a few people that have even ventured that way, but not actually traveled across the bridge yet. So it'll be a new experience when that does happen. But glad it's built, glad it's open, glad it's another way to get across the border into Canada. So it's good stuff, and looking forward to eventually using it.
Yeah, I really haven't I haven't been to Detroit. I've only been there, say, a couple of times. And I do remember it was a couple of really long waits. And if I am traveling to Detroit, that means that I'll be able to see a sporting event, or more than likely going to see a sporting event. And that is certainly not a bad thing. So, no, gentlemen, as always, thank you so much. And, guys, I do want to start with a shameless plug, if you will. And, on Monday, I will be celebrating another birthday. And I don't know about you guys, but every time I hear my birthday of August 3rd, I always have a little smile on my face. And in terms of a sporting sense, I don't know if there is a worse time of the year than having your birthday on the 3rd of August, because nothing is happening in the world of sports other than baseball. I do have to, I can recall of a couple of moments, I do remember very vividly when Ricky Henderson played half a season for the Toronto Blue Jays. It was in 1993. His debut was on the 3rd of August. Same with David Price. Of course, he played half a season as well in 2015. And, from a Canadian sense, RC and Chris, obviously the Canadian Olympics, the Olympics for our country is not as vast as the United States. And there was a very special gold medal that took place with the 4x100 men's relay for the Atlanta Olympics 30 years ago, and that makes me but guys, love to open up the floor to you regarding your birthday. Has there been something that specifically happened where you were like, hey, that happened on my special day?
RC, go for it.
Well, for me, man, I mean, I don't know. I just found out we're both Leos, so I mean, we're brothers. I don't really recall. I'm born on the 20th of August, so I'm with you. Nothing is going on. Preseason football will be taking off here in a little bit, but anything exciting? No. Just, as far as sports, I can't think of anything. So I'm in the same boat with you. Nothing is going on in August, early August.
Neel, how about yourself? I mean, do you with your birthday? I apologize, I can't recall when your birthday is, but is it big in the sports calendar?
Yeah, I guess you could say that. I mean, it's October 29th, so World Series, NBA started the NBA season. But the big things, the Jays won Game 5 on my birthday last year against LA. Obviously, that didn't end the way we wanted, but then I had to look it up. But the Phillies clinched their championship 17, 18 years ago on my birthday as well. So a trophy was lifted on my birthday. Yeah.
Very good. Yeah,
Nice.
no, with of course, with the start of the NBA season, I'm sure that not only your favorite sport, dare I say, I guess maybe football, but
here's actually, I wanted to add the interesting thing about that Phillies championship is Game 5 got rained out and they had to resume it on my birthday, and then they won that day.
Yeah, and wasn't that like 3 innings they only played?
It might have been, yeah.
So that's got to suck. I mean, like, you got to drive all the way to that stadium. Imagine if you were they were playing the Rays, I think.
Yeah.
And
it sucks if you're a Rays fan, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, especially since they lost. Chris, how about yourself? When's the big day, and how big is it in the sports calendar?
It's not big in the sports calendar, but there's a few notable things. July 3rd, believe it or not. So got an August 3rd and a July 3rd. I had to dig up this little tidbit. It's not a bit of happy news, but it's news nonetheless. It was 2006 when Steve Yzerman retired on July 3rd. So that
must have been hard for you, being a Red Wings fan.
It's we knew it was coming, right? I mean, it was a 24-year career for him, so it doesn't necessarily surprise me. But it's that's really the only notable thing. There were some small Tigers things down the way, but it wasn't anything catastrophic like that. So end of her career, officially hung him up, and then not delving too far into the Red Wings issues of present, but then he got into the GM role and then completely failed. So anyway, moving on.
No, it has been some tough years in Detroit, and we will be talking about that. One specific issue. later on in the show. But guys, I guess now that the World Cup of Soccer is over, we could until football season starts and hockey, basketball, all eyes are on Major League Baseball. And RC, beyond everything else, I'm really intrigued about baseball in terms of Mississippi. Of course, Mississippi does have a great sports history, tradition, and admiration for sports. But because Mississippi does not have an MLB franchise in your state, and forgive me, I'm not sure what the closest Major League Baseball team is to your city, but where does baseball rank? And from a pro level, I'm guessing that on a collegiate level, it's pretty high up there.
Mm-hmm. So we just had the number 7 overall pick come from Mississippi. He went to the Baltimore Orioles, Eric Booth Jr. So we have produced a lot of great baseball players. My brother-in-law is Billy Hamilton. He played.
You're kidding?
In the majors for 9 seasons. He played for Chicago. He was drafted by Cincinnati. Played for a lot of teams. Kansas City.
He was
Royals.
a speed demon.
He couldn't hit nothing, but when he made contact, he beat it out most times.
Yeah. So we have a lot of great. I got a few friends that got drafted. So baseball is high up there in Mississippi. It just there's not a pro team. The closest pro team is the Braves, and so but there's plenty of talent here. It's not a pro team here, but it's up there. Kids are playing it. Kids are more interested in it. I think Otani has got a lot of kids excited about playing baseball because they can see they can do multiple things, and also baseball money is guaranteed money. I mean, those contracts are guaranteed. And y'all know who Bobby Bowe is? That contract is still floating out there, and so kids grown up
2035. That's still good too.
Is it 2035?
Pretty sure. His agent is a GOAT. I mean, whoever his agent is, it was the greatest. Probably changed Bobby Bowe's life for the rest of his life. But yeah, man, baseball's big here. People love baseball. It's just we don't have the pro team, but it's up there.
Who is the big team, like in a general sense? Like, if there was a team that Mississippi, I guess people in your town,
a lot of Braves
fans. Is it Atlanta?
Yeah, a lot of Braves fans. The next closest team would probably be the Houston Astros, the Rangers, because Texas is right there. Louisiana don't have a Major League Baseball team either, so they have minor league teams, but it's a lot of Texas teams, a lot of Braves, Atlanta Braves, and you'd be surprised. St. Louis Cardinals, they're close too. So I know a lot of St. Louis Cardinals fans as well.
Okay, excellent. I don't suppose there's a lot of Jays fans over in
no.
Mississippi.
So check this out. So I'm a Giants fan, but you guys have drawn me into the Jays. I started watching the Jays last year because of you guys, and I got sucked into the heartache and heartbreak that you guys had to go through for many years. I experienced it. I was watching that game and I was like, why did I do this to myself? I'm an Edmonton Oilers fan, and so I adopted them. I took them on, and then I take on the Jays, and it's like I shouldn't be going through this. This is years and years and years of heartache, and it happened again. And I said, oh man, now I see and I can feel. I don't know exactly what you feel, but I kind of got a glimpse of it, a little taste of it, and it was tough.
It was very tough. I mean, the Raptors did, of course, they won in 2019, and they always do well in the playoffs, relatively speaking. But the Leafs is a disaster. The Blue Jays they had a hiccup there in 15-16, but they really didn't do anything relevant. And all those chances. I still have the scars, RC. But it was such a great moment, and I mean the Jays are really struggling this year.
Yeah,
may not make probably won't be making the playoffs. But I mean the romance and everything that we're all still captivated. I mean, Neel, very quickly, you must still be captivated with the Jays and everything that happened. I mean, this year is a dog, but you must still have more of an appreciation for the Jays than you did before last year's run.
I mean, yeah, for sure. There's no question. I mean, last year's Jays run was the most riveted I've been as a fan of any team in my life. You know, it was much more riveting than any Bills run I've lived through. And I've been a Bills fan for 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
And there is no run that I've seen as a fan that was more riveting than what the Jays did last year. And plus, we live here, so you know we were in the midst of everything. You know, I don't live in Buffalo, and obviously, the Raptors, nothing can top that Raps run. But that was the best sports summer of my life. It probably won't be topped, to be quite honest. You know.
No, I can see why.
You know, yeah, but last year I'm definitely still all in on the Jays as you know, as always. But last year definitely took it to another level, and this year, it's been very disappointing. It's the thing at least.
I mean, Chris, your teams have had some success over the years. I mean, you think about that run in 2004 with the Pistons and the Red Wings before the turn of the century. I mean, of course, we're still waiting on the Lions, but they did make some strides over the years. You know, well, I guess with the Jays, I mean, you know, obviously you being a Tigers fan, like, is there a presence of Jays fans? Because, you know, with the Montreal Canadiens, there's a lot of Canadiens fans here in mine and Neel's neck of the woods, even Detroit Red Wings fans. I'm assuming there isn't a lot of Jays fans, but because you know, because of the geography of it all, Windsor being what it is, like there must have been some sort of extra attention for last year's World Series.
Not a lick.
Not a lick,
no,
eh? Oh,
not
okay.
a lick. No, I see you. I see the thought process there, and quite frankly, as far as Canada goes, my personal view on it is those that are Habs fans and those that are like Sens fans. They're those fans, and even Wings fans are because they don't want to root for the Leafs. The Leafs themselves, there's a following as far as the belief that Leafs fans are kind of like Cowboys fans. Every year is their year until it's not. So and that may give me some Canadian hate, and that's fine. I'm over it. But
you are correct. But yeah.
That's the closest American thing that I can relate to it. Is every year is a Cowboys year until it's not, which is usually by week 3. So sure. But no, not a lot of Jays fans from the Detroit area that I can tell, and mainly it's because of the Tigers. I think if the Tigers did not exist, then that would probably be where we want to go, because nobody in the state of Michigan is going to consciously root for a team in Ohio. So that's where that would go. So yeah, and then talking about the Wings' success, I mean, before the turn of the century, 97, 98, but then also 02, 08. And
of course, sure.
And then the finals in 09. So they've seen their share of success. So Detroit sports it's been a while. Pistons being the closest, or I shouldn't even say that, Lions being the closest, but the Pistons making progress as well. So should be a fun next couple of seasons for the Lions and Pistons.
For the Lions and Pistons, absolutely. And you know, Chris, you'd think that there'd be a little bit of excitement, especially with Tarik Skubal, and you know, perhaps the best pitcher in the American League. The Tigers, they are 7 games under 500, but they are still hovering around that third wild card spot. I mean, they do have to jump over a few teams, but you know, 4 games back of the last wild card spot. Tarik Skubal has been discussed about with regards to the trade deadline. The trade deadline is coming up on my birthday. What do you think it's going to happen with Tarik Skubal? He said he doesn't want to leave Detroit. I guess the first question is, do you believe him? Second question, do you think he's going to go?
So there's a couple schools of thought here. The first biggest school of thought is everyone in Detroit is tired of talking about this dude. 100%. Really? Yes. That's the pundits are tired of talking about him. The general fans are tired of talking about him for the most part. A lot of people saying pay the man. But at the same point, there's more to the story than that. The fact that, well, I'll give you the news, then I'll give you my opinion on it. The news is that back in January when they were pre-arbitration, he hid an elbow injury, the same elbow injury he had surgery on earlier this season, with pieces in his elbow that were loose and jagged and running around in there that he had to get removed. But he hid that from the Tigers to not risk getting a payday because of arbitration. So that's something that didn't come out till the last week and a half, 2 weeks or so. But you said that he has stated that he wants to stay here. The end of that quote is that he wants to stay here through the end of the season. He has not out and said that, Detroit's my home, I don't want to leave it, period. He has said through the end of the season. And that's probably careful wording based on his agent, Scott Boras, who does not have a solid reputation amongst Detroit sports fans and teams. I insert a la Max Scherzer, insert a la a couple of other.
Well, I mean, Scott Boras. I mean, he is the sports agent de jour, and he's going to get whatever. Yeah, he's definitely looking out for the best interest of his client.
Yep. Monetarily speaking, for sure. That I completely understand that. And that's his job, and that's what he does, and he does it well. So more power to him. But the fact of the matter is at this point, Tigers need to make a decision. They are, like you said, a couple of games out of the last wild card spot. They badly need bullpen help. And I'm going to give you a stat that's going to kind of rattle your brain a little bit. In this season, the difference between the Tigers being 7 games under 500 and then leading the division by 4 to 5 games, they've lost 18, including today, games where they've led in the 7th inning or later.
So I didn't know Jeff Hoffman. I didn't know Jeff Hoffman was moonlighting as a Detroit Tiger.
Fair enough. But yeah, no, it's been a tire fire in the back end of the bullpen for the Tigers basically all season long, and they ruined a Skubal start. They were up 7-0 in the 7th inning, and they let that game get away from them to Baltimore. And to Baltimore, the team that is not one of the good teams this season. They are right on the Tigers level as far as win-loss. And if the Tigers are going to decide to buy and they are going to decide to make a playoff push, then they need bullpen help. And there's a couple of pieces that we have that we can use to get that bullpen help. You look at a Matt Vierling, you look at a Hyu Lee, you look at a Eduardo Valencia, who just came up and is mashing the ball. They are prospects that are near ready that they can deal for that mid-tier bullpen help. You've got a Jacob Latz out in Texas that very well could be on the move. We could definitely use him. That's one name that I'd like to float out there. So there's a fair bit of opportunity out there if they decide to go that way. But if they don't decide to go that way, you have to look at the present build of the Tigers. Is this a team, if you're Scott Harris, the GM of the Tigers, and you have to look at your current construction, is this a team that's going to make a deep playoff run? And is this a team worth getting nothing back for Skubal should he walk at the end of the season, which all indications point to that's exactly what's going to happen. So decisions have to be made, and they have to be made before, again, your birthday on August 3rd.
And must be such a tough decision because obviously Skubal is, as mentioned, one of the top pitchers in the American League in all of Major League Baseball, and pitchers like that don't come very often, and certainly a lot of decisions to be made with Tarik Skubal. Neel, what are the Jays going to do? And I don't want them to let Kevin Gausman go. I mean, now we're hearing potential of what Jays could get for Louis Varland. And I mean, George Springer, of course, had one of the biggest home runs in franchise history. Yeah, Chris is saying to sell. I mean, Neel, do you agree with him?
Oh, man. I mean, it's tough when you showed that you're a contender last year and you're bringing a lot of the same pieces back and you want to clean house now. I mean, it seems unsatisfying. Let's just put it that way. The whole season seems unsatisfying. I mean, Vladdy is clearly having a very down year. He's not looking like the same guy. The only bright spot we really have that I could see is Dylan Cease. He's been a home run acquisition.
Yeah,
but,
Ernie
Clement as well, for sure. Yeah, I mean, led the AL in All-Star votes. That was very surprising to me. Or he was top 2 or something like that. Yeah, that's insane. But there's not much going for us right now. I wouldn't mind. I'm not totally emotionally tied to Gosman or anybody if it nets us a better constructed team to come back at it next year. And again, what the moves may be, I really couldn't tell you. Baseball and the machinations about long-term outlooks, short-term trading position for trading pitching for batting and that type of thing. Sometimes, it goes over my head a little bit when it comes to baseball transactions. But, I 4 games back, like you say, I don't know if it's the season's over, but we don't have Barger anymore. That was a key piece for us last run. There's just, not a lot of hope emanating through this season right now. I do feel like it's just going to be like a situation, and baseball is like that. It's hard to be a dynasty. It's hard to repeat runs like what the Dodgers are doing. I mean, they're paying for it. They're buying this sort of consistency that they have, which they've always done. The Yankees as well. I mean, the Dodgers are just doing it better. But it's hard to make deep runs in consecutive years in baseball compared to other sports, where kind of it's a little bit more predictable how things go. There's a lot more variance in baseball, I see. So it just may be one of those years where you play it smart, whatever the way that is, and then you come back and try to really go at it next year. That's what I would say.
Well, I mean, because the Jays did so well, they were that close. But the reality is that the Jays had Bo Bichette, and did Vladdy just get lucky? What was the value of Chris Bassett, who's no longer on the team, of course, Barrios, and are they that much closer? And I mean, this is a question that you or I or nobody really knows, but with Gosman and Springer being in their mid-30s, like, I think that the only reason why they would keep him is because of that special run that they had next year. And I do think that it would be pretty irresponsible if the Jays re-signed him, unless if they take lesser money. What do you think?
I really don't know, man. It's a tough one. What to do this year, I don't know. I think that part of the problem is, like, we made such a special run last year and it was so unsatisfying that we're kind of clinging at straws to see what we can do to even put ourselves in some sort of remote position to be in the playoffs again. And it feels like this is like the ultimate like hangover for a team that just barely came short. It's like the ultimate hangover year. You talk about hangovers that happen after Super Bowls and NBA champion. There's all championship hangovers are a thing, but runner-up hangovers. I mean, if there was ever going to be one, it's going to be that we lost this thing by a few inches on a few different plays. And
I know.
and how do you recover from that? Really, it shouldn't be surprising that we're in this position where guys are having down years all across the board. Certain guys, of course, stepping up. New guys that come in and they want to earn their new fat contracts, but across the board, even just the energy, it can't be, that sort of that energy that one gets when you think you're onto something special. We had that. That energy got deflated in a violent and very, 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 very tough way for us. The all-time toughest,
very violating
loss
way.
MLB history. It's the worst loss in baseball history that we suffered last year. I mean, I don't think it's a stretch to say that. You're going to have the mother of all hangovers after that type of thing,
Yeah, and of course,
you may just want to accept it and come back with a fresh liver next year. Let's put it that way.
Because the entire country was so captivated by this, and RC, Chris, you two, I don't think really have it can grasp how from Vancouver to Halifax all the way up north to Yellowknife, like the entire country was just so enthralled by that run and really rejuvenated the love for baseball. Because when the Jays were winning in 92, 93, when they were threatening to make that World Series in the 80s and the 90s, baseball was the sport. And, of course, basketball came in and we saw how captivated the country was for the Raptors. But with the Jays being the only team in town, of course, Montreal moved to Washington. What is that, over 20 years ago? It's only one team in this country, as you know. And the country just really, all eyes were on that World Series. And that being said, is there going to be a World Series next year? The big talk is that 1994 is going to happen all over again, and there may not be a season. I mean, RC, how has baseball? There's been a lot of changes, and I don't know about you, but between the pitch clock and expanding the bases, and I think. Rob Manfred, the commissioner, has done some really good things. And I think baseball is a lot more palatable. I don't know what you think, but I mean, I think baseball could potentially be on the rise. And they just recently recovered from the strike that took place in 1994. I mean, like, how detrimental would a strike similar to 30 years ago be for the game?
I'd be devastated. I mean, I hate to use this as an example, but it's kind of like what COVID did to the NBA and other sports, how it was pretty much like, if you take baseball away now with it trending upward, it would set it back. I mean, it would do harm. Like, it's kind of like, to me, I love where it's at. It's more entertaining, more fast paced. I even watched the home run derby this year. I mean, I was very, very drawn to that. And it's like, you take it away now, you're going to set them back. I mean, you're just getting some of the American fans back. I mean, a lot of the people where I live at, there's a lot of players that are playing you can't identify with. You don't really know. You don't have any connection. Like, we had the connection with Bonds and Griffey and all those guys. And so all these new faces you're kind of getting used to, and you're finally getting to learn the names and where they're from and who's the best on each team. And then you take it away. It's going to hurt their league. So I think it would suit them well to kind of figure this out. I mean, I'm going back to the COVID situation. It was we was forced to watch certain sports and certain things, but it hurt. I think it hurt the National Football League. I think it hurt. I don't know if you guys watched the wrestling, but that was horrible. Like, having to sit there and watch that, and how that was. They're still kind of recovering from that, and so baseball needs to ride this wave and continue to grow and continue to get this. Get the Americans back into baseball, because a lot of people don't watch. A lot of my friends are Yankee fans. I know a lot of Yankee fans, and the Yankees are bad right now. And so, to take baseball away right now while the Yankees are bad, and they'd probably be happy. But I just think you need to fix it and get it back to where it needs to be, so we can continue to enjoy the trending of where the game is headed.
Chris, what do you think? It seems like they're going to be shutting things down for next season.
Well, it's looking more and more like that, unfortunately. The fact of the matter is there's so much differentiation between what the players want and what the owners want. There, in my opinion, a salary cap and a salary floor is absolutely imperative. The other three sports have figured it out. Why can't baseball? But the players are absolutely sticking their heels in the sand and saying, no, absolutely not in my game. Well, it's going to end up being 94 all over again at this point. And I don't foresee a situation where there is not a lockout before spring training would get going next season. And it's unfortunate. But I think RC's right. I think it would set them back, 5 years at least. There's been a lot of progress. You're right. Manfred's made a lot of really nice moves, expanding bases, the defensive shift limitations. I really like those, and the overall speed of the game, because the pitch clock have really made the game much more watchable and much more digestible on a day-to-day basis. But when it comes down to it, it's all about money. It makes the rock and world go round. You know that. So essentially, this is the situation we're in. They're gonna fight and they're gonna bicker and they're gonna argue, and the fans and the sport in general are gonna suffer.
You know, Neel, from what I understand, every Major League Baseball team is in the black each and every year. They make a profit. And when you are a team like the Miami Marlins and the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Kansas City Royals, the
Tampa
Royals
Bay
did
Rays.
have 15 and 16 where they were in the World Series, but they have always been a disaster. And teams like that can make money. But everybody is focused on the Dodgers and how they're able to get anybody and everybody. Tarik Skubal apparently is being rumored to be traded to LA. I wonder if the Dodgers and teams who could spend other teams out of the water, or the bottom feeders who are able to still make money. Where do you think the issue is? Because I think that teams like Kansas City, with due respect to the Royals, they should not be making a profit.
Well, that's the thing, is like it's salary sharing. It's profit sharing among the league. It's not like they're making a profit from their own ticket sales or hot dog sales. No, it's TV deals and media deals that give them what the profit they actually get. The Dodgers and Yankees, it might be different. They're getting that, but they're also getting a huge worldwide kind of fandom kind of thing. Like Ohtani's signing, they paid him like $700 million, but the extra kind of worldwide attention that the Dodgers get because of that far outweighs what they're actually going to pay him dollar-wise. Like
Japan.
They got the whole country of Japan.
Yep.
That in alone is worth it. They're in the biggest market, arguably the biggest market, and they got the best team. They're paying for it.
I think the Dodgers took a step back. Sorry, I think the Dodgers took a step back after the Corey Seager signing. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But I mean, I'm just joking around.
They're probably still the favorites to win it this year, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And they can turn it on at any point. They're going through their own hangover. It just doesn't look as disheveled as ours does. And but I think the problem is probably more so with the bottom feeders. I don't like what the Dodgers are doing, circumventing all the rules and things like that. But kind of reminds me of when the NBA salary cap went up, even though that's a hard cap. And then there was like a perfect storm of elements that allowed KD to go from OKC to the Warriors. And that situation will never happen again, where a top 5 player in the league can go as an unrestricted free agent to another team, with that team getting nothing back in return, and join basically a super team that just set the record in wins. That'll never happen again. And it came at a very particular point where contracts were elevating, the cap was elevating, like it was something, and it was an anomaly. And I guess the problem here is that just the Dodgers, they circumvent the rules. They're doing all this deferred payment stuff. I hate the deferred payment system. Like that's what I think the real biggest problem is. But that's only for the top heavy teams that spend a ton. The Pirates aren't worrying about deferring payments. They're worrying about making a minimum salary payment period across the team. I don't know. There's a lot of problems in how baseball's structured salary wise that I do think hold it back from its full potential. But again, like RC said, the sport is better after some of these rule changes they've made. That's for sure.
Well, okay, the rule changes is one thing, but I'm wondering if baseball would be better with a salary cap. Like, I mean, what do you guys think? Like, because with me, I don't understand it. I mean, the NBA, especially, they went all those years and decades with the New York Knicks being absolutely irrelevant. And, the top players in the NBA came from Cleveland with LeBron and Tim Duncan in San Antonio. Look at everything that happened in Oklahoma City with Durant and Westbrook, Shea. You don't have to be in the bright lights. I mean, beyond the big three in Miami, the Miami Heat, there really hasn't been that star in Miami. Now, obviously, Giannis is there, and we'll see how much more his stock is going to rise. But I mean, I think that the most his attention while he was in Milwaukee will be a hell of a lot brighter than what it will be in Miami. I mean, look at Kevin Durant. I mean, his legacy was in Oklahoma City, in my opinion. I guess what my question is that is a salary cap needed? I don't know if the example I brought back was relevant, but it just seems that players are, especially in baseball, are going to the Dodgers and the Yankees. And so long as you're a winner, it doesn't matter where you are.
I think it's a lot. It's very similar to like how European soccer, the baseball is kind of like European soccer in that you're going to have those teams, like, for example, like the Dodgers could be compared to like Real Madrid, but every other team in La Liga outside of Barcelona, most of them are kind of in the Pittsburgh Pirates, Kansas City Royals kind of category.
Right.
There. It's a bunch of small dogs, and then there's a few big dogs, and everyone in the world is a fan of one of those big dogs. Not many are, unless you're local, you're not really a fan too much of those other small dogs, right? So I think the league, they're all about money, and if recognition, and if that comes from a handful of teams across the league, and the other 25 are sort of just in some ways filler, then they're going to take that if that's what makes them more profit. The NBA, I think they do like dynasties. I think they like when dynasties happen, like the Bulls, for example, the Showtime Lakers, the Shaq and Kobe dynasty, the Warriors. Mm-hmm. I think these have all been things that have been profitable for the league. They were very happy.
But what about Cleveland, the Spurs?
The Spurs were never really. The Spurs were more of a long-term dynasty, in that they were just consistently good and never won a back-to-back championship. I mean, never won back-to-back. That I don't know if you call that a typical dynasty, but they were a dynasty in a sense for sure.
But I think in the Ginobili, Duncan, Parker era that there was a lot of worldwide appeal, especially since, well, I guess all three of them were not born in the U.S. I mean, Duncan, of course, represented the U.S. in the Olympics, but when you have that worldwide appeal, France, Argentina, and especially with what's going on now in San Antonio, I mean, led by Victor, I think that, and I mean, San Antonio is one of the smaller teams, cities in the NBA family. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, so it's just really fascinating to me because, I mean, off the top of my head, I mean, like, who is an elite franchise that's not from a big city in baseball? I don't really know if it really exists.
Mm-hmm.
But
probably Milwaukee is the biggest one you could talk about, maybe. I mean,
yeah, I would
and
say
they haven't won
Milwaukee.
Yeah, and they haven't won a World Series in forever, if they ever have.
They've made some deep playoff runs, but yeah, they haven't been able to
they haven't
get over the hump. Mm.
Yeah, but no, I mean, it would really be a shame if it happens again. Because 1994, of course, Montreal Expos, they were destroying Major League Baseball. They were like 30 games above 500, and Pedro Martinez was on the roster, but he wasn't even the ace of that team. Yep. And of course, 8 years later, they just never recovered. They moved to Washington. So
and they had my favorite player all time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're a big Vladdy guy,
was
right?
my guy. That was my guy. I hated to see. I love the Expos. I love that uniform.
Mm-hmm.
I did not like
Vlad. You got to take a look at Vlad Guerrero Sr. too.
And so
that's who he's referring to.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. I missed that.
Yeah. Moses Alou, Vlad. I mean, I was devastated, man. I loved that Expo. I love that Expo and Vancouver Grizzlies. With that just hurt me. Those uniforms are there are classics and iconic uniforms. I mean, they're perfect color scheme, and they were just perfect, and they moved them, and they never recovered from that. So that's exactly what's going to happen now. If they have a lockout, they're going to lose some. They're going to lose me because I'm just getting back into baseball, to be honest with you guys. So yeah, hope they figure it out.
Please, Chris, go ahead.
Okay, I was going to say, in regard to the cap versus floor, I think that there is more damage being done by those teams in the bottom, like Neel was saying. You got to take a look at the Tampa Bay Rays, and we mentioned the Royals, the Marlins, all those guys, Pirates as well. It's only a matter of time that Paul Skeens for Pittsburgh is not going to be in Pittsburgh control anymore, and he's going to go to a contending team, and it's going to be the Tarik Skubal sweepstakes all over again. Who is Pittsburgh going to trade him to? That kind of thing. And the main cog in that machine is that the argument that people are making against the salary floor is that these teams that are spending, bottom 10 payroll are still leading divisions. They're still, games over 500. But you got to look at the end result of these. How many of these teams in the smaller markets, like you were saying, have gone through with a bottom 10 payroll and won a World Series, or even gotten to the World Series, made deep playoff runs?
Perhaps the Rays, and
the Rays in 08.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And that's that. And then they lost the World Series to the Phillies, who did not have a bottom 10 payroll.
Sure.
The argument, again, the argument for the salary floor is bring those salaries up, make those teams spend the money on the free agents. And honestly, if you're one of those owners, you're going to see your profit margins go higher because, yes, you're investing in those players to put butts in seats, and then the media contracts are going to start coming in. The worldwide attention, like you guys are talking about Ohtani in Japan. Ichiro was the same way in Seattle. Japan loved the city of Seattle and the Seattle Mariners when Ichiro was there. Loved them. Worshipped that team. Worshipped
Probably
Ichiro.
Still do. Probably.
Yeah,
still.
Exactly. And that's exactly what these teams don't understand, is especially with how big an international footprint there is in Major League Baseball, especially these countries would be paying attention and giving money to these teams through merchandise sales, through international tickets, whatever the case is. It's only going to help you bring up a salary for it. The Dodgers are going to do what the Dodgers are going to do. Yes, put a salary cap in there. I think that the other three sports have figured it out. MLB, it's time to figure it out for you too. But the salary floor, I feel like, is more important than the salary cap.
Can I say something about that? So with the NFL, who's freaking profitable out their mind, I think they're killing it right now. Then the NBA has this uptick with all the parity in their league now. I mean, there haven't been a repeat champion in years. I mean, every year is a different champion. I don't think baseball can afford to do this, man. I know you said it's going to happen, but they're going to get lost because those other two sports are basically I mean, I don't know if people are really going to miss them. If you're not really a baseball fan, you're not going to miss them. So that's why right now with all the excitement around it, it would just be in their best interest to save their sport. I mean, because especially the younger generation, they don't care as much as we do. And I think they watching the other two sports more than they're watching baseball, especially Americans, man. I don't think Americans baseball is the main sport in America anymore. I think it's more so football. I think it surpassed baseball, and maybe baseball's third now. So this is bad timing if you're trying to get back viewership and get back the younger generation as well. So
I mean, it's interesting you say that. Off the top of my head, I'm guessing in terms of major U.S. cities where baseball is number one. Off the top of my head, I'm thinking St. Louis. I'm thinking maybe Boston. I don't know if Boston would choose the Red Sox over the Celtics. I'm guessing They're choosing the
Patriots.
You think it's a Patriots town?
Oh, 100%.
Yep. Patriots most definitely.
Yep.
Patriots over the Red Sox. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Fair enough.
Blue Jays probably will be over Buffalo Bills. I mean, Buffalo Bills is the closest thing you have to the area that you at. So I mean, They would win that. The Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta
Falcons,
Braves.
Braves, probably
Atlanta
Braves.
Braves over the Falcons.
Yeah, the
Okay.
Braves were Falcons.
Yeah, I would say.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Maybe the Dodgers. I mean, I don't think LA Angels would move the needle. Maybe the Dodgers. Well,
The
you got
Rams
the
would, though.
Lakers. Lakers over Dodgers, maybe. But
Yeah,
here's
but
the
where do the
question.
Rams fit there?
Well, yeah, the Rams are there, but I mean, I don't know if the Rams could be. I don't know if the Rams could take over LA as.
No, and the Rams aren't
their
even
town.
selling out their home games. It's more so.
Well, isn't there like 3 million people could go to those games? Like, isn't the stadium that like stupid massive? Like it's
between
crazy.
the Rams and the
right?
Chargers. Yeah. Yep.
But here's a question, RC. I'm going to put you on the spot.
Mhm.
Do you think leagues? Let's take a look at baseball specifically. Do you think that they would profit more if the Dodgers and the Yankees, let's throw in the Cubs, if they consistently win World Series? Because I don't think it makes that much of a difference. I mean, I don't think dynasties help leagues. I mean, because, 60, 70 years ago when the Celtics were winning all those championships and the Montreal Canadiens and the Yankees, there was only so many teams in those leagues. I mean, we don't have social media. We don't have, other leagues like heck, even esports and Major League Soccer and so on. But now we're seeing, of course, the New York Knicks as champions. Do you think the NBA is going to rise because of that? Do you think that baseball has risen because the Dodgers are World Series champions? Because I don't think. Please go ahead.
I think. Sorry for cutting you off. I think the days of the Lakers and the Celtics winning all the championships and the Bulls having. I think dynasties are dead or dying. I'm gonna say dying because if you look at.
And is that a good thing though?
Yes, I mean most definitely because with the younger generation, they're connected to those cities and they, have those players in those locations that they've grown to love and they know and they follow on social media. So to see the beginning, like this, they start from the bottom and then win a championship. I mean, I think it's great. I mean, you look at the NFL, they have parity. Every year is a different team winning a championship, and in the NBA, it's the same thing. And I think it's great. I think baseball needs it. The Yankees and the Dodgers, and baseball I probably would say it would be different. If the Jays win last year, it would be a great draw. It would have been great, a great ending to a story. I think, as sports fans, we always like the great ending to a story. Like the Knicks ending to their story was great. But I think baseball probably needs the same thing the other two leagues have. I think the Dodgers are kind of wearing on people. They're becoming they're public enemy number one now. Like I'm a Laker fan and I'm a Niners fan, but for some reason I hate the Dodgers. I don't like the Dodgers. I mean, it's like they just found every way possible to figure it out and win those games, and I'm like, you got to lose at some point, and then pushing the salaries is they gotta fix that. They gotta change that. But I think it would be beneficial. Dynasties are not needed anymore. The NBA needed Magic and Bird. They needed Michael Jordan. Now they not so much. I mean, they got talent, and I mean, especially foreign talent is just through the roof. And American-born players are starting to reemerge. So I'm against dynasties. I like seeing new teams win championships.
Parity.
Yeah, parity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How about Neel, Chris? How about you guys?
Yeah.
With regards
parity?
to dynasties, yeah, like parity. I personally don't think that. Please, Neel, go ahead.
I'm with Darcy. I'm with parity. I think that's what makes the NFL the best sport, in my opinion. It is the best sport to me. Like I love basketball the most as a sport, playing it, as a sport. But the NFL is my favorite professional sports league, and I love football too, of course. But the way it's run is just like immaculate compared to some of these other leagues. And that's why they're the king. That's why they're the box office draw. They realize that, and the nature of the sport, you don't play as many games. Every game is more meaningful. You can go from worst to first to worst in a heartbeat. more than any other league. It's just like that. And you don't even have to change the team too much. You might just change the head coach, and it's enough to do that. It could be strength of schedule that does it. There's so many factors that things change up every year. You're not just getting the same run through the washing machine with like you do sometimes with other sports. Like we all, so I think that, the parity is a great thing. And that's why every game, even a game on like week 14, when you got like the Rams playing the Falcons or something, the Falcons might have a losing record. The Rams might have one of the best records in the league, and it could still be an exciting game just because the matchup is maybe not a great one for the Rams, or there's something that the Falcons can exploit in that type of situation. You just don't get that with other sports the same way. And that's what makes football so great,
Yeah.
Yeah. And actually, guys, we do have a comment here. Tony Talking Game is asking, what are we talking about? And what we are talking about is dynasties are good for the each respective league. And we are seeing something happening in LA with the Dodgers. And it wasn't really that long ago when the Warriors and the Cavaliers kept on meeting in the NBA Finals. And go a couple years before that, you had the Lakers, you had the Chicago Bulls. And of course, those were different times, especially in the during the Lakers runs and the Bulls runs, etc. Is our leagues benefiting from super dominant teams? And I think that there is a consensus here that I don't think so. I think that there is more excitement, and one of the reasons why leagues like the NFL is doing so well, because any team could potentially win it.
Can I give you an example real quick?
Please.
Just to force Neel's point real quick, is one of the smaller markets in the country is the city of Kansas City in Missouri. And look what the Chiefs have done in the last several years. And that team has exploded in popularity and that city has exploded in popularity from the performance of that team. As much
I think
as
one of the I think one of the players' wives might have a little bit to do with it.
I mean, but this was even before. I see you, but this was even before the Taylor Swift.
Yeah, of
thing,
course, absolutely.
Hit Kansas City, and Mahomes was winning all those championships with his cast of characters, and that they called it the dynasty before Taylor Swift got there.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So it's fair to say that Kansas City, being a smaller market team, has definitely benefited from the parity in the NFL, and I think we could see that. Make baseball more palatable to those smaller market teams, so we don't see the Dodgers every single season in the end.
Well, I want to your point, because I blame the 49ers for making the Kansas City Chiefs a dynasty, because the 49ers were leading in both of those games, and Kyle Shanahan had a moment in both of those games. But you were exactly right, man. Thinking about in that small little moment, we were seeing the Chiefs, but it was like, now all of a sudden they're having to start over again. Neel, like you can go from being the best to the worst, or somewhere in the middle of the pack. So yeah, that's much needed in baseball. We need the Dodgers to come back to earth.
Yes, 100% agree.
I completely agree as well. Now, I do wonder what we would be saying if we actually lived in LA, and because okay, well, actually, RC, obviously, you're a big basketball guy, and let me genuinely ask you, what are your thoughts of Olympic basketball, men's Olympic basketball? Well, throw in the women. I mean, the women's leagues is women's Olympics and women's basketball. I mean, it's USA and everybody else is second. But now, of course, men's basketball, the competition's getting a lot more higher. But in 92, in 96, in 2000, how interested were you in men's basketball in the Olympics? Because this is your country, and your country was going to dominate. Like, were you interested in those Olympics? Because I'll tell you right now, I sure wasn't, because my country was, they didn't appear in most of them.
Yeah.
Well, to be honest, I've never been a fan of watching one team dominate another. Now, of course, being a Niner fan and Michigan fan, Michigan's all-time winning team in college football history means nothing to me because you have won, just finally won a championship after 30 years. But I don't like seeing the same team win, and I don't like seeing a team dominate. Now, if it's my team, okay, it's good, but I mean, I want you to at least make my team work, or as far as the viewership and me watching it, I'm not very interested in seeing a team get blown out by 40 points. And I remember watching the 92 Olympics. I remember watching, the 2000 Olympics, and even this past Olympics. I wasn't just drawn to seeing Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, and Larry Bird, and all those guys playing together and just beating. Some of those teams didn't even need to be on the floor with them, and it was bad. It was hard to watch. I was not drawn to that. And then here in America, the one problem I have is it's like I'm all excited about the parity and the foreign players finally finding their way. I think a lot of the American-born players love the lifestyle now more than they love the game. And so it's lost its luster, and it don't have the same. Even during the draft, you don't even cry in the draft no more. They kind of like, I'm supposed to be here type stuff. But so I'm not really drawn to seeing, especially on that stage, where it's unbalanced. And now I think it's kind of balancing out now. I think the American-born players are leaving that door open, and the foreign players are walking through it and balancing that thing out. But I don't want to watch nobody get blown out by 40 points. I guarantee you I probably turned it off at halftime. Because if you're down 30 going into the third, you're done. Mm-hmm. So no, I'm not drawn to that at all. Wasn't drawn to it as a kid either.
Yeah. Well, actually, RC, there is one listener who does think that dynasties are a good thing. Dynasties make teams watch for two reasons. Either you want to watch your team continue to dominate, or you join the group that's tired. Either way, you watch. And there's value to that. Yep. But in a long, drawn-out baseball season, I don't know if we want to see the pure domination on one team. I think a lot more fans would be more intrigued if their teams were threatening for playoff spot and so on.
But baseball needed the Blue Jays to win. They needed that to happen.
Yeah. Yep.
It had to happen. Like, we didn't need the Dodgers to win any more than they've already won. We needed the Blue Jays to win. We need the Brewers to win. We need, Arizona. You need teams like that to win. You need some parity in baseball. You didn't need the Dodgers. What did the Dodgers do for baseball?
Well, circumvented all the rules.
Yeah. No, it's we could go on and on. And the four of us are totally in agreement. And oh man.
One thing I'll say is that,
please, Neel, yeah.
To Tony's point about dynasties being good, he's making comments there about the dynasties being good. And he does have a point, because nothing is black and white. There's gray area all over these topics that we discuss. It's a lot of gray. And one of the things that dynasties definitely do is bring in the casual fan, because look at this. I might be able to tell you who won the championships in the 70s. I will be able to tell you all the champions for the last 50 years. I could do that. But the last 9 years, where every single championship has been a different team, a lot of casual fans wouldn't be able to tell you who won. They're not, but everyone knows the 80s was Magic and Larry. Everyone knows the 90s was Michael. Mm-hmm. Everyone knows that it was Shaq, Kobe in the 2000s, and Tim Duncan, you can say in there. So the constant presence of these dominating teams, these dynasties, it does linger into the casual fan atmosphere. But to diehard fans, it's not as much of a thing. We want the parity maybe more so because we're trying to watch good ball. We're trying to see something different that we haven't seen, because we're really paying attention to this stuff. And so I think from a casual fan perspective, and mind you, the NBA does not need to convince the guys that love the NBA to watch the NBA. They need to get the casual fan. So that's why they want the dynasties. And the same might be said about the Dodgers, to be quite honest, because they have a more memory appeal going forward in the future, historical appeal. And then to RC's point, I just want to add about this, how, American players, how, they seem a little too entitled these days compared to back then. Part of that, I think a big problem is social media and how they get all their flowers and their props before they even step on the wood as a professional. Now with the college rules getting paid there, things like that. But the European guys, they still, something tells me that they don't have that mindset. They're still driven hard by coaches and guys that drill them, that really drill them and treat it like it's like a boarding school, not a, some type of prep school or something.
Right.
The mindset is different. They come to the league with that mindset. And that's why they got all the MVPs in the last 8 years. Since James Harden, no American player has won an MVP. And it coincides with 8 different teams winning a championship, but it may not be coincidence.
Dynasties make errors.
Can I add this though? Think about how profitable the NFL is going to be, and they're already profitable when the Niners finally win, or the Cowboys finally win another Super Bowl. It's like through the roof type parity, or the Cleveland Browns or the Detroit Lions, who was the year that the Lions should have won the Super Bowl was the year that they had the Niners on the road in Santa Clara and couldn't finish the deal. If they get to that Super Bowl, imagine if Detroit wins the Super Bowl. It's the equivalent of the Knicks winning the NBA championship. Like, so the baseball needs the Blue Jays to end that drought. You get what I'm saying? Like, it is necessary that happens, because what happens is it's like now it draws the casual as well. Like me, I'm gonna be like, okay, now the Blue Jays finally, who's next? Now the Philadelphia 76ers with LeBron James is feeling like they got a long drought too. They won since the 70s. We got a chance. You see what I'm saying? So baseball needs it, man. Bad.
Yep.
And actually, there is a comment from Swift, Ben Reynolds, a host of Voice of the Fans. He says that he likes a competitive league, but he doesn't mind dynasties if they built the team the right way.
Right.
Not having a stacked team through free agency or trades, i.e., like LeBron and how he went to South Beach.
Super teams. Yep.
Yeah, super teams for sure. Guys, great chat for sure. And hey, I don't think there's any better time to talk about LeBron James. He is taking his talents to the city of brotherly love. And a lot of people were wondering if he was thinking about going back to Cleveland, going back to Miami. There was a hot rumor about him potentially going with the Golden State Warriors. Chris, not a lot of people were seeing Philly. Were you?
It was a surprise, but not an overall shock. This is a pattern that he's had his entire career. I mean, he looks for the best available situation for him and where he could fit most in. It's arguable that Cleveland has a structure already, so him going there would not necessarily be as big a benefit as him going to a Philadelphia. You got him, you got Embiid, you got Jaylen Brown. The biggest thing for me with that is that everybody's kind of anointing them. Not everybody. I guess a majority of people are kind of anointing them second best team in the East. But I mean, you have 6 legitimate teams in the Eastern Conference that are, including them, that very well still could get to the finals. So this is not an absolute game changer as much as people are thinking it is. Yes, he is going to be an asset for that team. Yes, he's going to have the mentorship for Jaylen Brown and also work with Embiid. And they're going to be a good team. There's no doubt about that. But this does not automatically anoint them as the representative for the East and doesn't even put them in the Eastern Conference Finals. So they have to remain healthy. They have to have a bunch of things still go right. You still have teams like the Heat who got Giannis and still have Bam. You have Boston who, yes, they took a measured step back by losing JB. And even though they pulled Paul George, that's still going to be a downgrade. You have Cleveland who is still looking at Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley and be like, hey, look, we're still here. And you have Detroit, which, I mean, as long as the Duren situation gets figured out, which I think they're going to end up taking giving him a qualifying offer that he's going to take, that team will still be back. So those teams by themselves, and not to mention the team that just won the title after 53 years and would not mind getting back to the NBA Finals again and winning another chip with Jalen Brunson and company. So this move is not as big a move as everybody is making it out to be. My God. So just my personal take on it. It's not the game-changing move as it was when he went to Miami. He had a whole primetime special on ESPN. It's not that same type of deal. It's not even the same type of deal as when he went to LA. This is less impactful than him going to LA, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Neel, what are your thoughts? Because I got to tell you, I don't know if it's earth-shattering, but I think LeBron's a difference maker. I mean, if it was just quote-unquote Jaylen Brown with Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid, yeah, that's a pretty big, and Edgecombe, of course. That's one thing. It's LeBron James. And yeah, sure, he's a couple years younger than me. But the reality is that I think he could be a difference maker. I think that he could certainly improve Philly's chances around. I think it's a pretty decent like I said, I don't think it's a earth-shattering, but I think it's a pretty significant move.
Yeah. I mean, say what you want about LeBron, and obviously he's an all-time great, but he's going to make any team he joins better. There's not a question about that. This is still the savant, intellectually knowing basketball IQ, making other people around him better. He's lost a step, but he's still as good a passer as he ever was. And if they're going to put him at point guard, I mean, that's going to open up Maxey, Edgecombe. You're gonna. Again, I feel like LeBron, yeah, he wanted to hear from Embiid, and Embiid like feeling confident about his own health, but he also didn't make this decision without thinking about, if Embiid is not available, do we still have a chance? And the answer he must have come to was yes, because with just the other guys that they got. And I mean, Edgecombe to me is a future superstar. So this guy could come with an even better year than he had last year, and he is a good two-way player. JB, if he comes in with a mindset that he doesn't need to be a primary scorer, because he really is the third, well, maybe the second option scoring, but if Embiid's playing, he's a third option all of a sudden, but he is their best defender. That's how he really makes his mark as being a two-way player, not a one-way offensive player. No, he's not that guy. He's a two-way player. But so I guess, though, what history tells us is that, you could have all the names you want on a team, but if you don't have chemistry, if you don't have the right leadership, locker room culture, coaching, and we all love Nick Nurse in Toronto. I mean, he's a really good coach. Then you're not going to do it, man. There's other teams out there like the Knicks who have all those things, but they also got the culture. They also got everyone's a defensive dog, but knows how to play offensively within the system. They all figured out how to sacrifice. They didn't know how to. Karl Anthony Towns did not know how to sacrifice 2 years ago, but he learned last run, and they're not winning the championship. They're not beating the Spurs without Cat learning how to alter his game. So he was a big underrated piece, I thought, in what they did, and obviously some luck along the way, which everyone needs to win. So with Philly, I mean, I'm concerned about, number one, Embiid, but then I'm also concerned about the fact that LeBron is not a defensive presence like he used to be. He's going to be a sieve for a lot of other teams. How are they going to cover that up? Is it JB is going to be covering the best wing on the other team? That's for sure. Is Maxey and Edgecombe going to be stepping up where they need to be? There's a lot of questions, but I do also think that they have everything they need to win a championship. I just think that they're going to have to get through more hurdles than the usual one and done situation. I think that the Raptors 2019 team was a lot better than this Philly team, to put an example on that.
Raptors team compare. Okay.
Because all of our guys were two-way players. All of our guys were in their prime for the most part, or at least at the tail end of it, if not the start. And so
emerging.
Yeah, everyone was
emerging.
Everyone was a great player on that team, or a great player in the future, about to be Okay, so and obviously we had the best player in the world in his absolute prime at the time.
At the time, perhaps.
The Philly does not have that with any of their players. Maxey is the closest thing you could say to that. JB as well, but there's a lot of efficiency metrics with JB that raise some question marks as to why did Boston trade a guy smack dab in the middle of his prime? These questions need to be answered, and we don't have all the answers right now.
We're gonna get
Swift comments and says, hope the Sixers lose in the first round. Shoot, I hope they miss the playoffs. Definitely don't think that they're going to miss the playoffs. But Neel, I remember when you and I went to the Sixers game in Toronto, and Joel Embiid was just an absolute force. And, say whatever you want about Embiid. I think the guy is just way too big to be playing basketball. I mean, name the 7-footer that has had a long 15-year career with no injury problems. And I mean, I'm definitely not the president of the Joel Embiid fan club, but his body frame is such a huge factor. But I mean, getting back to LeBron, RC, maybe it's because it's LeBron. Maybe it's because he's in the same conversation, arguably, as Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Magic, whoever. There just seems to be such a criticism for LeBron James to get another championship. And tell me the free agent who doesn't want to go to a winning team. And LeBron James, he's getting a 2-year, $16 million contract. So he's making a fraction of what he usually gets. And personally, I don't know about you three, but I thought it was absolutely ridiculous that the media was tying him to potentially Miami so he could play golf more. I mean, there's no way that this guy's going to dog it to that degree.
No. I would agree.
RC, what do you think about the whole thing? I mean, do you think that this is another ring chase? Because I don't really think so. I mean, I think that this is just simply a guy in his 40s who still could play basketball and doesn't want to retire.
I think this is the ending. So do you guys remember when Gary Payton and Karl Malone goes to the Lakers?
Sure.
Yep.
The media frenzy behind that. You got 4 future Hall of Famers on one team. And then they still had Robert Horry. They had a lot of players on that team with tenure who had been in the league, but the league had already given the Lakers a championship. But it was the ending of Gary Payton and Karl Malone, especially Karl Malone's career. It was the ending. I remember seeing Michael Jordan as a Wizard. It was the ending. I remember seeing Paul Pierce leave the Celtics and Kevin Garnett and go to Brooklyn. That was the ending. This is the ending for his story, because this is how this plays out. 2 ways. He goes over there and that thing comes off the hinges because of his health. See, he's 42 years old. So he missed the first 2 months of the season with the Lakers, and that injury came out of nowhere. I don't know if he got out to bed that morning and it didn't go right. He missed 2 months. Then Embiid, we know we can pencil in for about 50 games. And so this is what happens. The league is not going to wait on him to get healthy. They're going to still play those games, and however it goes, it goes. You got to have depth. You got to have guys to buy in. You need those guys to play to have chemistry. I like LeBron James as a basketball player and how he has evolved, but everybody has an ending, and this is it. And I know him. If it doesn't go the way that he wants, he's going to announce that he's going to go on that tour, that goodbye tour, and he's going to retire, because you're not going to see LeBron James down on his shield. You're going to see him standing on his feet. He's going to finish the way he's supposed to. He's not going to be the problem with that team. He's going to come in there. He's going to be able to play and fit and mesh. He can play with anybody in the league. But his issue is going to be the league is getting younger, faster, stronger, and he's going to play point guard. He's going to see a point guard every night that can score, and it's going to go at him. And so if he just it depends on how many games he plans on playing. If you got to look at that roster and say, okay, it looks good on paper as the starting 5, but 2 of those guys aren't promised to you. You see what I'm saying? And so, but we know every night we're going to see, the Knicks play the way they play, and we're going to see those other teams are going to show up. They don't get hurt. But we do know that history repeats itself when we're at that yard marker with LeBron James. But is it ring chasing? Yes, because this you guys hear me out on this. LeBron has to always be in control. I'm a Laker fan. In that situation with the Lakers, if you look at that Laker team, and I said this earlier on a video that I recorded, the Lakers pretty much did everything LeBron James wanted. I mean, they drafted his son who wasn't NBA ready. They hired a podcaster to be their head coach because he was friends with LeBron James. Okay, JJ was a great NBA player, great college player, but he had no coaching experience, and everything LeBron wanted, he got. So the guy that's in Bob Myers is going to try to duplicate that, but you're going to have to, even though you're giving him everything he's want, like you guys said earlier, this is not LeBron James leaving Cleveland going to Miami. He still has to go out and perform against some of the best players in the league, and he can be easily had. And I want to see two players on that team in closing. If they're gonna sacrifice their game to play with LeBron James, and that's Jaylen Brown, who needs the ball, and that's Tyrese Maxey, who has the ball and takes a lot of ill-advised three-point shots. They're gonna have to learn. I mean, we gotta also remember, being a coach myself, what kind of brand of basketball are you gonna play? Because all those guys need the basketball. When that ball goes down to Embiid, it don't come back out. So that ball needs to move to play the way LeBron wants to play. So it's a learning curve there. And it ain't going to get done in 1 year. I can see them winning in year two, not this upcoming year. I can see them winning in the second year because they've went through a lot of trials and tribulations. But it's definitely ring chasing.
I don't think LeBron's going to have the kind of voice that he did having LA, Miami, or Cleveland. I don't see it. I mean,
he will because he's the alpha male in that room. No one has won anything in that room. No one has won anything.
Yeah,
he picked that team because Maxey's on clutch, and Maxey's with LeBron in the summer, and he loves LeBron. See, if he goes to Cleveland, Spider doesn't look at him the same way Maxey's going to look at him. See what I'm saying? The respect. Edgecombe's a rookie, basically. And you seen Edgecombe video picture with his hand back, like, oh my God, I'm gonna play with LeBron James. You see what I'm saying? Jaylen Brown may be the issue because he's an alpha male himself, and his issue is he has to decide if he wants to play basketball or he wants to do media. If he wants to he can't do both. He's either gonna be a basketball, like he's gonna struggle with trying to do both because he puts his foot in his mouth too much. You see what I'm saying? You can't, he actually criticizes LeBron James' son. Now you playing with LeBron. And you just got done criticizing Embiid. Now you're going to play with Embiid. So you got to he's going to have to figure out what he wants to do as a professional athlete because he's not going to be able to do both. So it's
wait a minute. A couple of things. Do you guys think that LeBron signs in Philly if Jaylen Brown didn't? I mean, with the criticism aside, of that Jaylen Brown did say about Bronny, I think one of the reasons why LeBron signed in Philly was because of Jaylen Brown. Because
of the competitive advantage. Do you remember championship? You remember the championship they went in the bubble? They had four guys over 6'10" on that team. Costa Koufis is his name. They had Anthony Davis, JaVale McGee, and they had Dwight Howard to defend Joker. Then they had elite wing players. They had Caldwell Pope, Alex Caruso. They had Rondo. I'm talking about these are J.R. Smith, young waiters, Kaku. They had a competitive advantage. This team, he's going to have a competitive advantage if they all show up together. Yeah. They're going to be hard to play against if they're all healthy. It makes sense for what he's trying to accomplish, is what I'm saying.
I think LeBron is going after the assist title this year, and I know honestly, and I don't think he's going to be his focus will not be on scoring as much. He got these other guys to score at will, and I think he saw probably JB as that move. LeBron doesn't go there if JB doesn't, because it first of all showed that the Sixers are serious about competing, and secondly, I think JB actually is a pretty good fit with LeBron because he likes to get into the lane, cut, and that's a passing guy's dream to have someone that's always cutting, that's looking to go to the rim, and then is going to go back and be the best defender on your team. So JB has those elements. His game will be elevated by LeBron if he puts his ego in check and doesn't worry about what he is alpha-wise, just plays his role at a high level. It could work in that scenario. But, he saw the primary scorer in Maxey, one of the best scorers in the league.
Sure.
He saw one of the best young players in the league, Edgecombe. And you saw what Dylan Harper just did in the finals. I mean, Edgecombe has that same moxie, that mindset. He's not as good as Harper because he's not as big, he's not as strong, he doesn't have an NBA-ready body. Like Harper's pretty damn close to like an NBA-ready body already. But Edgecombe is that guy. He's got a bright future. And then obviously, so LeBron, I think, just sees a lot of potential. It's up to him now how he's going to lead these guys, but it does seem like, Maxey especially is ready to listen to LeBron and ready to really give him that deification that he so craves. And that's a big step when you got the best player on the team already vouching for you. That's Maxey's team. Don't get anything twisted. It's not JB's team. It's not LeBron's team. It's Maxey's team. He better start acting like it this year.
That's a problem. That's a problem. That's going to be a problem with Jaylen Brown. He I don't think he's going to defer. I still haven't even heard him speak on this.
He said that he's approaching this season with no ego, in quotes, no ego.
Okay.
But so he said that he spoke to LeBron about that as well, that he's coming in here to be the best defender on the team, pick up the best assignment, and be ready to catch and score, that type of thing. I don't think he's going to be playing much point guard at all. He's going to be, so if Nurse can convince these guys to do that, I mean, the sky's the limit. But, there's a lot of things here. There's a lot of health issues. And also, when guys aren't touching the ball, as we know, when you're primarily an offensive player, you like to score, sometimes the defense can become lackadaisical. The defense is going to be the problem if they don't do it. It's not going to be the offense, the defense that's going to be the problem.
But do you remember the Boston-Philadelphia series, how dominant Boston was until Embiid showed up?
Yeah, but also Boston stopped cashing the threes, which they live and die by. But
Right.
then you go and look at the New York series, and they got dominated more so because they were defensively outclassed.
Okay, so my point is, the league is changing so much. The league is getting bigger on the inside. They decided now to go the opposite direction. So everybody's trying to figure out how to deal with the unicorn in San Antonio and Joker. And so now here comes Bam and Giannis. They're going to have an issue. Philadelphia's issue is going to be when they run into that buzzsaw. When they run into the post player who puts his nose down and gets to the basket and plays physical in the paint, because LeBron's either going to be playing the point or the four. And so he can't guard no point guard in the NBA, and he can't guard a big in the NBA. He can't guard a true big. He can't guard Giannis. He's not guarding Giannis. He's not guarding Bam. He's not guarding a true big that plays with his back to the basket or can face up. So you're gonna see. I'm just gonna say this: if LeBron James win the championship this year with this team, it puts him in a place in a stratosphere that no one can touch him, because it's a lot of mental gymnastics as far as his physical, his mental, and that Philadelphia fan base is the worst fan base in sports. They're gonna boo him on sight. You watch. If you don't go to, he's gonna deal with a lot in Philadelphia.
That's why he's living in New York.
Yeah, right.
That's another narrative that I don't understand. I mean, who cares? Like, I know that Philadelphia is really proud of their city, and yeah, there is something against New York City, but I think a lot of the Eagles and say the Philadelphia Flyers and so on, like, don't they live within New Jersey?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. So, like, okay, LeBron lives in New York. I don't even know why. Maybe the better question is, why did this story even come out? I mean, LeBron is so calculated because it's LeBron.
Because it's LeBron, 100%.
okay, so then maybe Rich Paul and like somebody within LeBron's camp leaked out the story, or maybe, I mean, who knows?
Rich
But
Paul is the equivalent of, sorry for cutting you off, man, but Rich Paul is the Jerry Jones of agents, man. You don't hear from any other agent in sports but Rich Paul, and you don't hear
Oh, and
from
Scott Boras, but yeah,
Scott Boras. But Rich Paul is in our face a lot more than Scott Boras. You
A
always
lot more than we want him to be.
Facts.
yeah. And actually, we do have a couple of more comments. Swift has chimed in and says LeBron came out and said once he saw Brown go to Philly, Philly became his number one target. And he also said ring chasing to the max. And of course, Swift is.
It would be like Michael Jordan before, instead of deciding to go play with the Wizards, he sees Shaq and Kobe emerging in LA, and he goes and plays with Shaq and Kobe. You would be like, it would be fine in this era of basketball, but from a competitive standpoint, it's like he would. I don't think Michael Jordan would want to be viewed as just someone who rode the coattails of two other guys. Like LeBron James had a team in LA. If he stayed, the money he took in Philly, if he takes that money in LA and you look at what they put together right now with Luka, he will be competing for a championship. Walker Kessler is a good player. You know, AR is a good player. Luka's a good player. The pieces they brought in fit with the way LeBron likes to play, that big that can stretch and shoot, that pop and pick with that big, and you know that play style. Philly, it's a lot of guys who like to play within. It's a style of basketball that Nick Nurse he didn't have that in Toronto. You knew who the guy was, and that ball constantly moved. You can't teach scorers how to play a style of basketball in a year that you want to play. You want to play like San Antonio and Golden State, that takes time. Yeah. That ball got to keep moving. And I don't know if those guys, because I watch Maxey come up the court. You know, guys aren't even set. He's jacking that thing up and they're going the other way. So we'll see.
Yeah. There's another question that I had. How would you summarize LeBron's time in LA? I mean, between his first stop in Cleveland, Miami, back to Cleveland, the stretch in Los Angeles was the longest stretch he had with one team. And there's something about LA that just does not hit like it did hit in Cleveland, like it did hit in Miami. I don't know how to best summarize LeBron James's time in LA. What about you guys?
Unfulfilled.
Why is that? He won a championship there.
He did. Yes, it was a bubble championship, and I mean, say what you want. There's a lot of people that put an asterisk next to that, but I think that from a LeBron James standpoint, looking at it in his shoes, which are rather larger than mine, the fact is, I think he wanted to do, and he had visions for so many greater accomplishments in LA versus what they had. Getting the championship was good. That he wanted that. That's fine, but there were opportunities left on the table and things left undone in his mind, I think. And I think that's going to be, when all is said and done, he's writing his presidential memoirs of the NBA when he retires finally. It's going to be something that he mentions that he did not accomplish everything that he wanted to do in LA.
Neel, how about you? What do you think?
I would say underwhelming as well. I mean, he got the bubble, but the only thing I think about when I think about his bubble championship is that if Kawhi stayed, that would have been our championship. Yeah. And so either way, he got a championship. It just happened to be one of those ones that isn't as memorable, let's just say. Yeah. But I think a lot of the problems was poor management.
Oh, are you guys
Anthony Davis was in and out kind of thing. Yeah. You guys good?
Sorry, Neel, are you guys seeing an issue with Neel as well, or is that just me?
Yep.
Okay. Neel, I think we're okay there. I think we're okay now. Did you want to continue?
No, I'm just going to say it was unfulfilled, like Chris said. But the championship, that is half the battle. He got the one title. He can put his name on a ring with a Lakers symbol on it. That's worth a lot. If he had gone the entire time without winning a ring, then it's disastrous. But he got a ring. AD got a ring. And they went to another, conference finals where I think they might have got swept by Denver.
I believe they got swept.
I believe they got swept. Yes.
Yeah. So I mean,
Joker.
there's a lot there. I don't think Pelinka did a bang up job. He did. He put it together a nice bubble team, but after that, he was very mid. And like you say, least memorable destination he's been to. I think he had other priorities in LA, like Chris alluded to, that didn't necessarily revolve around the killer drive to be great on the court.
Yeah, it was certainly interesting, and it's going to be just as, if not more interesting, to see LeBron James try and build something with Embiid, Brown, Edgecombe, Maxey, Nick Nurse, and those Philadelphia 76ers.
Can I add to that? Add to the Laker thing?
Please.
As a Laker fan, it was first of all, it was a bad marriage because you're coming behind Kobe Bryant, and for years the NBA pushed Kobe versus LeBron, and then he decides to go to LA where Kobe is king, and so that was a bad marriage. And then you think about Rob Pelinka, he catches a lot of flack, but wherever LeBron goes, he's the GM. He's a lot of the players that was on that team are LeBron's pick play. He don't like playing with young players, first of all. So Maxey and Edgecombe will be the first young players he's played with. Because you think about,
Kyrie.
You got Ingram and Julius Randle and Kuzma and a lot of Jordan Clarkson. A lot of those guys, Larry Nance got shipped out. What's LaMelo's brother name?
Lonzo
gets shipped out. He didn't want to play with those guys. So when you see players like Jared Dudley and J.R. Smith and Deion Waiters and Rondo and Carmelo Anthony and Dwight Howard, that's all LeBron James influence. So Rob Pelinka was just along for the ride. He just was given the keys to a Ferrari and say, "Don't wreck it." And then when you see like you bring in somebody like Darvin Ham, was a bad fit. He thought he had. See, LeBron's gonna bring a coach in he think he can have in his back pocket, and then Darvin pushed back, and he was out of there. And then you bring in JJ Redick. That's a guy that had no coaching experience, but that was his guy. So Rob and Jenny was just doing what LeBron wanted. So that's another thing. You hate to see an organization being ran by a player, And so that's another reason why it didn't work, because a lot of the pieces didn't fit. The style of play that he played to win championships in Cleveland and Miami, the league evolved. He got older, the league caught up to the way he played, and you didn't have a Kyrie Irving ever in LA, and then Anthony Davis couldn't stay healthy. The bubble championship, in closing, the bubble championship was flawed because Laker fans view it as a given, something that was given to you because you never had to travel on the road in the playoffs. You never felt what it felt like to actually grind for an NBA championship, but have him tell it because he's strategic. He's the only athlete I've ever seen that's had this much control over how his career is being portrayed. But he said it was the toughest. It was the toughest championship he ever won, but it was in the AAU format. It was in a controlled environment. There wasn't no home crowd. There wasn't no away crowd. So he likes to feed his own narrative. He's so obsessed with the GOAT. So I look at the whole Laker tenure as an experiment gone bad. And the Lakers wanted him back. And he didn't want to come back because it's Luka's team now. But you go to Philly, is his team. And he just injected himself back into
See, I don't see that. I don't see it being LeBron's team.
You look at Kevin Hart, Gilly the Kid, if y'all know who that is. These figures of Philly, they're talking about LeBron.
Yeah, sure, God. They're talking about LeBron, but I mean, like within the locker room, I mean, I think I think everybody is seeing it as Tyrese Maxey's team.
So
And
what did Jaylen Brown say to him? When you play with LeBron James, Kevin Love, Chris Bosh, Anthony Davis, you're going to sacrifice. Okay? Because LeBron can't. It's kind of like watching Russell Westbrook win an MVP playing a crazy style, and he never adjusts. He never learned how to really shoot. Once he win the MVP, you can't tell him he can't play like that. So LeBron is not going to be in year 24, if they is what it is, and decides he's going to change and become this whole other style of player. You're going to change. See, Luka was unwilling to stand in the corner and shoot threes. Somebody going to have to stand in the corner and shoot threes. Which one of those three going to do
it? Okay. I mean, if you want to look at it that way,
and that's another problem that team's going to have is 3-point shooting.
Embiid's not going to be on that block. See, what you're going to see is he needs to be there because he has a no one can stop Embiid 15 feet. And when his back is to the back, he's unstoppable. But do you want Embiid standing on the perimeter shooting threes, or would you want to get that easy 2 points on that block? LeBron James is not, even at this age, is not about to reinvent his game. He's worked everywhere he's went. So those two young guys they're going to be so, it's like seeing Kwame Brown play with Michael Jordan. Their eyes are going to be big, and they're going to want to buy into it. And you're going to see Tyrese Maxey play a style he hadn't played before. He's gonna turn into Mario Chalmers right before your eyes. He's gonna
RC, come on. He's gonna be closer to Kyrie. He's gonna be closer to Kyrie Irving playing with LeBron than he will Mario Chalmers.
Yeah, but
Mario Chalmers is wild.
Even if you think about Kyrie Irving, I'm being sarcastic with the Mario Chalmers. But if you think about Kyrie Irving with LeBron James, but you're thinking about it, a younger LeBron James, a younger Kyrie Irving. Now, this older version of LeBron James is going to require, he needs Maxey to play that style the way Kyrie played. But there are going to be moments where he feels like, I'm the guy, ball comes through me. See what I'm saying? Then if they come and they double team me, or I'm going to make the right decision to you. LeBron's not going to be the one standing in the corner shooting threes is what I'm telling you. He's not going to change his game.
That's fine, but I guess in terms of LeBron banging his foot and saying do as I say and so on, I don't see that happening. I mean, I don't see him getting the entire franchise flipped over like you mentioned with LA and Miami and so on, like he did in the past. I mean, I think that if Maxey, Nick Nurse, I'm a little indifferent on, but I don't think the be all and end all ends with LeBron James.
If he doesn't play that way, if he doesn't have that mindset that we've grown to see, they're not going to win. He has to be the dog. He is the guy. Even though he's 42 years old, even though he's 42 years old, when he's right, he's the guy. In LA, Luka was, I hate to say this, LeBron was a better player, overall player. Luka conditioning, the arguing with the officials. But you watch LeBron James, he was locked in. He has to be that way for the Sixers to win a championship because he's a leader. He's a natural born leader. He's used to being in that role. If they have intentions on winning a championship, he has to come in there demanding, because he's the only one that knows what it takes to win a championship.
Yeah, him and JB. Yeah.
He
Randy,
has to bring it.
can I ask a question of the panel, including you?
Yeah, of course, please.
Yes or no, 5 words or less. In the 2 years that LeBron is going to be in Philly, do they win a championship? Randy.
I'll put him in the finals. Do they? Well, anything can happen in the finals. Yeah. Do they win a championship?
Eastern Conference Finals.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's Neel. All right. What do you think, RC?
No, I just watched the Knicks beat a team that they wasn't better than. They were down 20 points every night, and the Spurs found a way to lose. Trust me, the West is going to be tough for the East. It's just don't see it happening.
Yeah.
It's West winning the championship next year.
That was 37 words, but I understand your point.
But it is a great question, Chris, because anything can happen. I mean, upsets can happen. I mean, we saw this huge romantic run that the New York Knicks had, and I think a lot of us were pulling for New York, which is really weird to say because, I mean, they're the Knicks. But there is something that tells me that they can do it, Philly. Because, I mean, look, is it possible that we're saying no because the it factor could be LeBron James? I mean, why not? Why not? You have another season under Tyrese Maxey's belt. You have a potentially rejuvenated Jaylen Brown. You have VJ Edgecombe, who's supposed to be one of the next guys.
Mm-hmm.
And let's say that Joel Embiid, knock on wood, has a healthy year.
Mm-hmm.
Why not?
That's a lot of ifs.
There is a lot.
There's a lot of ifs.
One thing you can't discount with LeBron is his ability to get to the finals in the East.
Yeah,
but he just knows he knows what it takes, and if he has the talent around him, high level talent, which he does, he's capable of molding that as the leader on the court, as the coach on the court, so to speak. Maxey will listen to him. I think Maxey's going to take a step up because, sometimes it didn't look pretty. Maxey's putting up numbers, but again, it didn't always look efficient, pretty. He's a great player. He has another level or two to get to, as does Edgecombe. I think these young guys will really benefit from LeBron, and it's just going to take JB playing his role at a super high level and not letting ego get in the way, and they'll be okay. They have a shot as much as any other team to make the finals if they're healthy. It'll be fun to see. That's all. I mean, it'll be fun to see. It's going to be a fun team to watch on TV against like the Spurs, against the Thunder, against the Lakers, against all the teams, against us, the Raps. So Philly's going to be a hot ticket, and for good reason. We'll be very divided on them, and we'll see.
And no one's talking about the Raptors, man. Or Detroit.
Well, because we don't know, Raptors don't know if Kawhi Leonard is going to be on the team.
Okay.
NBA put us back in the bubble.
Oh, I mean, that is just an absolute. Why is this taking so long? What is out? What I mean, this whole thing went down. How many months ago, Neel? And they're potentially saying that it could be 2027 when they figure out what's going on.
It's 2027 till they want to tell us what really happened. They're trying to clean it up, both sides. I mean, it's a messy situation. It's some stuff that's going on in this league that I believe this is not something that's foreign. I'm gonna leave it like that. I believe this goes on. I believe this happened more than it happened with the Clippers.
The problem is that they got to set a precedent. If they let Kawhi off easy or the Clippers off easy, then every other team is going to be like, well, you're not going to do any worse to us when we do something. If we do something, if we get caught doing something.
Well, and can I make a point to that effect? Because the thing is there's a solid chance that the Raptors are going to back out of this trade entirely. I'm just going to put that right out there, because if they go through with this trade, it has already been said that they take on the liability of the Kawhi Leonard contract. And if the NBA penalizes the Clippers and Kawhi the way things are going, then Toronto eats that money, and they are.
But we will only be penalized the Kawhi related.
Understood.
Punishment,
Absolutely. But a Kawhi contract in Toronto is still going to be worth multi-millions of dollars.
Yeah.
And not to mention the cap hits.
But please, RC, go ahead.
So my question to my guy, my Detroit guy.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, like, wouldn't it be in the best interest of the NBA to kind of speed this up? Because Kawhi to the Raptors, it's just a more appealing thing than Kawhi going back to the Clippers. But wouldn't it be in their best interest to speed up this process? Why are they taking so long to figure out what's going on? I mean,
there's an argument for that, but I think the better argument is that the NBA is taking their time with this because it sets a precedent, like Randy was saying. If there is a precedent set that no team is going to really be punished for circumventing the salary cap by paying your guy under the table, however many millions of dollars, then this needs to be nipped in the bud now. And the repercussions of not nipping this in the bud and being very thorough with how this is handled is going to be more detrimental than the money lost to her, the money gained to hurrying this through, getting Kawhi to Toronto, and everybody's on with their day.
Gotcha.
Yep.
It always got to be the Clippers, man. Always causing a scandal. Every decade they got a major scandal, and now it's leaking into Canada. It's funny though.
I remember the Clippers.
My hope is that we negotiate with the Clippers and renegotiate this deal, better terms for us in the event that something may happen, just so the season can get started. And they don't want to see Kawhi, man. The Clippers do not want to see Kawhi come back to LA. I can tell you that with assurance. They do not want him coming back and weighing down a $50 million on their roster. Hell no. They'd rather have what we're sending them.
He's not going to play.
They think they're winning the deal. They think that they're winning the deal, and we think that we're winning the deal. Nobody wants this not to happen, except the lawyers that the NBA hired.
Can I give you an opinion of what I think is going to happen to Kawhi?
Sure.
I don't think he plays a game for the Clippers anymore. I don't think he plays another game for the Clips, and I don't think he plays a game for the Raptors. I think Kawhi,
I disagree. I think he comes to Toronto. I think he comes to Toronto, and he'll be here for suspended maybe 15, 20 games possibly, but he'll play for us.
He is, in my opinion, he's getting a year for this.
No.
Yeah, I fully believe that.
But you know what? Neel, I gotta say, I didn't really think it was going to be a year, but the longer and longer that this drags out, why not a year?
Mm-hmm.
Apparently they'll just talk about a second company that's not aspiration being involved. I think this comes down harder on the Clippers because if it's circumvention of the cap, then it has to be the Clippers, because it's not just Kawhi going and getting a deal from aspiration independent of the Clippers. Then the Clippers wouldn't even be in the situation.
Right.
They are in the situation
on both sides.
they facilitated it. Mm-hmm. It wasn't Kawhi that facilitated it. They were trying to convince Kawhi that they can get him this extra bag under the table. And Kawhi's like, sure, okay, that works. But it was the Clippers that did all the facilitation. Kawhi could almost play the victim card here. Not really, but
now there is a rumor that Kawhi Leonard was asking for ownership, part ownership of the Maple Leafs, and whether it was the Raptors itself, and who knows if Uncle Dennis was involved either.
Yeah, it was Uncle Dennis. He was trying to grease his palms under the table.
Okay, so if there was a second cup, maybe, and I can't remember if one of you guys was alluding to this, but maybe this goes way beyond Kawhi Leonard. Maybe this goes on with other players. Maybe this goes on with players in other leagues. And that I think, Neel, to Chris's point, I think that the NBA really needs to come down correctly. And I don't think 20 games is good enough. And, of course, I was foaming at the mouth to the fact that Kawhi Leonard was going to come back to Toronto. But if I'm Adam Silver, I really believe that they're going to come down hard if, in fact, Kawhi Leonard took X amount of dollars outside of the cap.
You can't penalize Kawhi more than you can penalize the Clippers. And
Exactly.
keep in mind, Steve Ballmer is one of Adam Silver's most close allies within the ownership circles of the NBA. Ballmer and Silver are tight, and I'm telling you, Adam Silver, he wants this deal to happen. He doesn't want the Clippers to go back to being this black mark on the NBA. He wants this over with. He wants it not in the headlines. But unfortunately, they're hiring third-party independent people to run this investigation, and
Exactly.
the NBA sort of is at their mercy to a sense. I'm sure he's
Are you
pushing them
sure
every
about
single
that?
day, like, yo, stop billing us, come to a conclusion. But at the same time, he has to go through the right process because it's a precedent that counts.
Well,
now.
remember, we have to deal with the players' union on this too. So anything that's going to be sent down Kawhi's way is going to have to go through the players' union. There's going to
And
be
the same way with the
appeals.
Clippers, they sort of, in a way, have to agree to whatever terms that is set out. This is not like a court of law. This is a situation where, there's mediation and stuff like that going to happen. So that's another whole side of the process as well.
Which is part of the reason it's taking so long.
I think the Cowboys. I think Jerry Jones let the cat out of the bag with the Michael Parsons deal, where he said he tried to get Michael Irvin to get Michael Parsons to come to his house, and he always talks about being a Cowboy outside of being paid to be a Cowboy. What comes along with it, all the perks. He never really says it, but he says it. So being the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys is different than being a quarterback. And he's just alluding to something, but he's not saying it. So I think this is something that happens. Because you remember when LeBron's just trying to make his decision, Rich Paul posts that whiteboard and it has all that different stuff on it. And it's like saying other things that they were looking at. It wasn't just basketball. So I think it's going on. I think that Kawhi, Uncle Dennis, and the Clippers, Steve Ballmer, look like he's sloppy with anything. Probably just was sloppy with it and didn't handle it well, but do I think it's the first time this happened? Hell no. I think it even happened in the Michael Jordan deal with the Wizards. I truly believe that there was more that he got under the table besides, part ownership.
It's such a fascinating story. I have no idea how close Silver is to Steve Ballmer, but the reality is that Steve Ballmer is one of the richest men in the world. And how are you going to penalize somebody with that kind of pocket, that kind of scratch, beyond yanking the team away? So, I mean, like, okay, Adam Silver took the team away from Donald Sterling. And if Steve Ballmer did something as egregious as underhanded payments outside of the salary cap, which is, in truth, I think that's a major penalty. That is something extremely serious. Who's to say that Steve Ballmer loses his franchise?
Won't happen.
Very possible.
I don't think it happened.
It happened with Donald Sterling.
And Donald
Sterling.
Sterling's. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, no, Chris, please.
Yeah, Donald Sterling's egregious offenses were that of recorded conversations where he said some very underhanded things, and it was not a great look for the NBA, not a great look for the Los Angeles Clippers at the time, and he lost his franchise because of that. It is arguable, albeit comparing apples to oranges, that this offense circumvents the entire purpose of a salary cap and a league where parity is king. And that is something that Adam Silver as commissioner cannot afford, because this will be a black mark on his legacy as commissioner if this is not brought to hand and taken care of and maybe not swiftly, but correctly and with justice upon everybody.
Yeah, they'll never take the franchise away from Ballmer.
I don't think they will either.
There's absolutely zero chance that that's going to happen, but they may lose a few first-round picks. And
you think that's enough? You think that's
enough?
I
think that's enough. I think that's enough. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we look.
But I think there's also going to be greater oversight eventually established into like side deals and stuff like that, and perhaps things like that. More regulation. But they don't want to lose Ballmer, man. He's a massive asset for the NBA to have. He's the richest owner in all of professional sports in the entire world. There's no owner of any team in the world that's
What I mean, like, what in the grand scheme of things, what does that mean? So Steve Ballmer owns the LA Clippers. Okay, he's been owning it for what, 15 years now? And in the end, what does that mean? What does that get the NBA? So I mean, like, let's say that they yank the franchise from Ballmer, then you get some other billionaire in there, and what's the difference? Money's money.
The difference is that Ballmer won't excuse my language. I wanted to use a worse word, but he won't abuse a city with hardworking, paying citizens to fund his own arena. He'll go fund it. He'll buy it. He'll put a brand new, brand spanking, state of the art arena, and I really want to see it sometime. But it looks like an unbelievable arena.
Mm-hmm.
He'll do that just like he'll dig into his piggy bank and run it. He doesn't need to be like this new Portland owner.
Mm-hmm.
They made a bad decision letting this guy take over Paul Allen's Portland Trailblazers. And it's a shame because he's already he took off like food out of the flights. The next thing you know, he's going to make these guys fly economy again. And there's all this bullshit about how he's making just being one of these like a Pittsburgh Pirates type owner.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And giving like the head coach a 1-year deal. It's a shame that they let this guy become an owner in the league, but
it's ironic because his hockey team just won the Stanley Cup. But I mean,
hockey is a different breed,
Hockey in Carolina.
That's a whole different conversation. Got some opinions.
At the end of the day, all we care about is Kawhi going to come here, and are we going to be competing? And I'm just hoping the answer is yes, because it was such a fun kind of week when we acquired him, and before all this BS started coming about, and we, all the memories of 7 years ago and whatnot, and the team we have around him that potentially is dangerous. I mean, look at Philly and look at Toronto. You got a lot more offensive firepower there. You got a lot more defensive firepower here. Let's battle.
Yep. And that enters another team into the race. And I think Toronto will be formidable because Scotty Barnes is emerging. Detroit is not going anywhere. They're actually going to be pissed off. I think Detroit's going to be really motivated because they're not being spoken about. But I hope the Kawhi plays too. But I think Steve Ballmer is okay. He can buy his way out of anything.
Yeah.
He's going to make sure everyone that needs to get an aspiration deal is going to get one in this process.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Guys, it's amazing that we're already coming up to 2 hours on the episode today. And, there's so many things happening in the NBA. But, Chris, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you what you think about the Pistons. I mean, I don't think anybody saw the Pistons having the kind of year that they did have in the regular season last year. They have something special potentially cooking. You mentioned about Duran and everything going on there. But do you think that the Pistons could get back to what they did have last year?
They improved as long as they're able to secure Duran. Otherwise, I think they take a measured step back. One thing we have to realize is that Duran is very, very young. And he may have been putting the cart before the horse, trying to get the kind of money that he's asking for right now. And amongst the teams that we're talking about, him, Sacramento being one of those. The fact of the matter is he has a qualifying offer on the table. He takes that, give it another couple of years, and absolutely he hits his max contract. But Detroit played the field, and they didn't get burned by it in that case. And I think it's going to be at long term. Duran signs a qualifying offer. He's back. Detroit's back in the mix with the better part of the Eastern Conference. And quite frankly, I think that that of the Eastern Conference teams, I put Detroit ahead of Boston. I put Detroit ahead of Cleveland as well. And I put Detroit ahead of Miami. Philly may overtake them, and I think New York is better than them. But you could very well see Detroit back in the mix of the top 3 seeds at least. And if they go on another special run like they did last season, maybe they overtake them in the regular season again and get the 1 seed. But I mean, that doesn't necessarily, it's a whole different season when the playoffs start. We know that. But another year of development for Duran, another year of development for the other young guys, Asar Thompson, who is quietly becoming one of the best defensive players in the NBA, just from an efficiency standpoint. And then obviously you give Cade some different help, not necessarily the same help, but different help with a John Collins who comes in. The biggest thing that they're missing right now, they need a solidified number 2 if Duran comes back. They have to give Cade a little more space, and Duncan Robinson did help with that but they need somebody who can create shots for himself, like a K, just maybe at a different level. So they will still be there. Regular season, they'll be fine. Top 4 seed at worst, but the biggest development is going to come in the playoffs. So I think they'll be fine. They'll be there at the end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, they certainly have something cooking over there in Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
Very quickly, there was a number of things that we had for tonight, but what do you guys think about Minnesota? Do you think Anthony Edwards and LaMelo Ball can work together and get something going in Minnesota? I think I am really interested about that. What do you guys think?
I think that I'm very interested to watch them play. I'm concerned, obviously, about LaMelo Ball, his mind, his maturity, his actual championship IQ. I'm not going to say basketball IQ. I think he does know the game, and he still plays it in a way that I don't know if it's meant to be a big winning style. But I think that if there's going to be any team where LaMelo can succeed on, it's going to be this one, where every other player on the starting lineup is a dog of a defender, can cover up for a lot of his issues. He can add to that. He's still pretty good when it comes to steals and swats, or not swats, steals, and just, if he tries, he can go up a level for sure. Anthony Edwards still has 2 levels to go up to, in my opinion. Anthony Edwards has the ceiling to be the best player in the league if he really, really, really put his mind to it, and aged a little bit, got more experience. So I think they're dangerous, actually, if healthy. The biggest question with all of these teams is if healthy, right? They can be dangerous because, they got a real defensive identity, and between, essentially shipping off Randall and Naz Reid for LaMelo Ball, you have some other guys that were seldom used that can step in, like Shannon and guys like that. They're a very interesting team to me. Unfortunately, putting all your eggs in a LaMelo basket is just risky, but that risk could pay off. Time will tell. We'll see.
I have something to add, but I don't want to cut off RC if he has something.
Man, I don't believe in them at all. I honestly believe that the Hornets gave up on you when an organization give up on players like that, like Ja Morant was given. I feel like Grizzlies gave up on him, and I feel like I'm never for shipping off size in the league that's growing and moving towards being big in the block again. You have no size on that team. You have Gobert, and then after that, it's like, who's going to guard the OKC trio of Hartenstein, Adari Mara, and Chet Holmgren? And then you got to go play. You see what San Antonio did. They got bigger, added some bigger pieces. So, I mean, I don't even think Anthony Edwards finishes there. At some point, he probably ends up somewhere else. But I wouldn't want to coach that team because, yeah, they have dogs and they're going to guard and they're going to defend, but you still got rid of size, and you know it's going to be tough in the West without size. So, yeah, I don't believe in them at all. I hate to be negative, but that's just my honest opinion.
Chris, looks like you're the tiebreaker. What do you think?
I am 100% with RC here. So I'm going to give you 5 teams in the Western Conference. I'm going to give you the Thunder, the Spurs, the Nuggets, the Lakers, and I'll maybe give you the Rockets. Okay. Are the Timberwolves better as currently constructed with LaMelo Ball than any of those 5 teams? I'd say maybe the Rockets.
I'd say
the Rockets and maybe the Lakers as well.
Yeah.
I'm
not convinced on the Lakers.
Okay. Fair enough. But Timberwolves were 49-33 last year. Okay. They were the 6th seed in the Western Conference. I don't think LaMelo Ball moves the needle, and I think they take a measured step back.
Very interesting.
I mean, 49-33 in the Eastern Conference gets you a pretty good seed. The 6th seed in the Western Conference is tough. Don't get me wrong. And do they win more than 50 games, losing the pieces that they lost and gaining a LaMelo Ball? I don't think so.
And don't forget about, RC just mentioned John Morant. The Blazers could be pretty damn good this year. I mean, with Damian Lillard coming back, John Morant, I don't know if you guys have seen, but the guy is discovering nature. He's going for kayak rides, canoeing. He's really becoming a man of the woods. So essentially, he went from guns blazing on the Grizzlies to now searching for Grizzlies on the Blazers.
I like it. I like it. Well, take the Blazers, then put them in for the Rockets. And so are the Wolves better than the Blazers? And
I think the Mavericks are going to be better. I think the Mavericks actually have a head coach. I'm for seeing the Mavericks take another step. I don't trust LaMelo Ball. I just don't. They gave up on him in Charlotte. Charlotte actually got a lot clean cut. If you look at the team now, it's like they got rid of Miles Bridges and LaMelo, and they got guys that could be faces of their franchise. So.
Yep, future team with the Hornets. I like the moves.
The one counterpoint, RC, that I will tell you is last season I think was LaMelo's best season. Yeah, when he was available, he looked good at times. He made other guys around him better. He still had that immaturity, that kind of zesty diva kind of vibe to him. But now he's on a team that has been to the Western Conference Finals 2 times in a row. He's with a guy that he's not the best player on the team no more. It's not his team. You don't have that pressure. It's Ant, who is his boy, by the way. They're both 24 years. They're both only 24 years old. They're going to be growing together. And everyone around them, like I say, is a grizzled veteran that likes to bully other guys on the other team. So it might be the most ideal situation for LaMelo, is all I'm saying, of any other team in the league for him to actually thrive. It's all up to him. Charlotte was not that ideal situation for him at any point.
Yeah, that's a 45 win team in my opinion.
Oh, I'm going to say this year 50. I'm going to say they got 50 wins. Yeah, it's hard to say. Health permits everything, right?
Sure.
Yeah. So you guys are thinking 45-50 for Minnesota?
I think Phoenix is going to be better. I really do. I really feel like you look at what Phoenix they brought back. They got Miles Bridges is a good player, and Jalen Green when he's healthy, and Dylan Brooks and Booker. I mean, I just think Minnesota, to me, they committed a cardinal sin. You don't get rid of your size, man. I mean, Nas Reed really helped them a lot.
Oh yeah, so, absolutely.
Guys, very quickly over to the NFL, and what are we seeing with Kansas City? Patrick Mahomes goes down, and the reports are saying that he will be ready to go for opening week. An ACL injury for a quarterback, I mean, that's a pretty big deal. You guys think, well, here, let's put it this way. And Neel being a Buffalo fan, this might be, let's merge all three together. And actually, I have to give credit to TSN Radio here in Toronto, because I heard this question. I thought it was fantastic. Between Kansas City, Buffalo, and Baltimore, are you guys convinced that all three are going to make the playoffs?
No.
Which team is going to, if it's more than one, please feel free to share. But I mean, Neel, like everybody was thinking that Buffalo was going to make the Super Bowl last year, and they lose out to Jacksonville. And
Denver.
What's the difference between Denver? Excuse me. What's the difference between last year and this year? And
I do think Buffalo's. But I think Buffalo's the best team out of those three going into this year. I mean, who did I say this about? Philly. The Philly, the 76ers, but in the sense that we're not going to have a problem on offense. It's going to be the defense that defines our season. I think we made good changes there. We have a new defensive coordinator, so that's always a new shot in the arm, new head coach, and a couple of big names that we added to the defense, which there's no doubt that are at least our biggest weakness, which was our stopping the run last year, will be shored up at least moderately this year. I think, across the board, there's enough reason to hope and think that we will be at least as good as last year. And I think we'll be better, to be quite honest. I think that there was some extenuating factors that kind of affected us last year. But out of the other two teams, I would say that, Kansas City looked really bad last year. They looked old. They looked broken down. Mahomes. Right. I don't know what they did this year to really make me think that they're suddenly going to become that dynastic team that we saw a few years ago, or even just 3 years ago. And Baltimore, again, is a question mark. So I don't think all three will make it. I think one out of Kansas City and Baltimore will, but I would be very surprised if all three did. Because I kind of think that Lamar Jackson, he's still a really good player, but we got to remember Derrick Henry is getting another year older and he's already at the tail end. And Lamar Jackson just has lost some of his trademark speed as well. And I don't think that he's ever going to really have that second win like Michael Vick had, becoming a really good passer after starting his career as a really good dual threat. So Buffalo number 1 out of there. And if I had to pick, I'd probably put Kansas City number 2, but that's only because I believe that Mahomes is that guy that will look to avenge what happened last year.
The thought for me is, yes, Buffalo's in. There's no doubt about that. My Lions get to see them week 2 to open their stadium, so I'm excited to see that, and I'm looking forward to that game. That being said, of the other two, Baltimore I think has the best shot to make the playoffs, but I don't think they go far. It's all going to depend on the health of Patrick Mahomes. The health of Patrick Mahomes is paramount. If that ACL does not get him back to where he was before he tore it, then I think KC is in for a reality check. They do add a Kenneth Walker from Seattle. That was a big time move after they lost Pacheco, and I think Kenneth Walker is overall a better running back than Pacheco. Pacheco takes the David Montgomery role in Detroit. The other thing that the Ravens have going for them is they play in one of the weakest divisions in football. You're talking about Pittsburgh, Cleveland, and Cincinnati, all of which who are, Joe Burrow has proven he can't consistently stay healthy. Aaron Rodgers is 2 steps out of a nursing home, and the Cleveland Browns are the Cleveland Browns. The KC Chiefs have the Chargers to deal with, and they have the Broncos to deal with. The Chargers are going to be better. The Broncos are going to be there. Obviously, they were good last year as well. So the Chiefs are going to have a harder road to hoe to get to the playoffs and to the top of that division, or even into the AFC wildcard, because they play both the Chargers and the Broncos twice, versus the Ravens, who their division opponents are not going to be nearly as difficult in theory on paper. So I think the Ravens, health being 100%, have a better shot at getting into the playoffs this year. If this is next year, then the Ravens, again, Derrick Henry getting older, but I think this is another year that the Ravens have the potential to be something decent.
Yeah, I actually agree with your point, especially about the Chiefs division. But when it comes to Cincy, I think that this might be a year that Cincy comes back and looks more like that team that went and played the Rams. I think a lot of things on defense this offseason. If all the main guys are coming in healthy, I think it could be one of those, once every few years Cincy pulls something off like this. I think this could be one of those years.
A good Cincy team is good for the NFL, so I'm definitely
absolutely.
That, but I'm not agreeing that I think it's going to be this year, but we'll see.
RC, what about you?
Buffalo's definitely in. They got a dude. He does stuff, man. Yeah, he does some stuff that the other two guys can't do. Mahomes can't do it right now because he's injured, and he's continuing to get injured. And we know how this goes when you start getting injured, especially lower leg injuries. You're never the same player. And the Mahomes carried Kansas City through a lot of bad stuff, man. He had a bad offensive line the entire time he was there. He's been there. And so Baltimore is kind of in a weird spot. New coach. They're trying to copy and paste what Seattle did. The coordinators resemble each other, both with these former Michigan DCs, and they're trying to copy and paste. But one problem is somebody might want to tell the rest of the NFL, because you've had those windows. All these teams have had a window. And Kansas City's trying to duplicate what they've done already, and that's incredibly hard. And then Buffalo's trying to stay in that position and spot where they keep climbing to the next spot. And then Baltimore is in a weird spot because no one fears them anymore. They used to be feared on defense, and now they're just one of the of the teams in the league. So I definitely think Buffalo's in, but those other two teams, I'm with you, Chris. Baltimore has the weakest division. Kansas City is in the toughest division, and Buffalo just has a dude. So yeah.
Buffalo has a hard division themselves with the New England Patriots
Yes.
in that division, but they also have the Jets and the Dolphins. So do with that what you will.
And they struggle at times with those teams. It don't make any sense.
They tend to play down to them. I noticed.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anything happens in the division, though. You could be the worst team in the division, and you could just know the other team better.
You're not wrong.
In the NFL.
Uncle Rico is playing for the Dolphins at quarterback, so we'll see how that goes.
Well, what's going to happen next, guys? Little straight facts, bro. Relax. So, guys, I did give Chris the rundown. I'm going to drop a statement. You're going to tell me straight facts or bro relax, and you are going to tell me why. And Chris, as a Red Wings fan, and I'm assuming you were born and raised in Michigan,
yep,
that it must be very difficult for you to see Dylan Larkin wanting to trade out of Detroit. He did sign a long-term contract, and he has requested a trade. Steve Yzerman is now out as GM. And Dylan Larkin only gave reported three destinations of where he wanted to be traded to. Apparently, the number did expand to 5, but I mean, when there's 32 teams in the league, he's not really doing Detroit.
Not a high list, exactly.
Not a high list at all. But the NHL season is 2 months away. There doesn't seem to be any headway at all in terms of trade. Of course, anything can happen. But what if it doesn't? Chris, Dylan Larkin will remain a Red Wing at the start of the season. Straight facts, bro, relax.
Straight facts. 100%. He is still a Red Wing, and he will be one, I think, at least until the trade deadline, if not until next offseason. The thing we're looking at is they still haven't named a GM replacement, which makes sense to me because they're looking not just in the organization, but outside the organization. My personal opinion, they need to hire outside the family. And the fact is nobody is going to make a move without a GM in place, first and foremost. That GM search is likely going to extend to probably a couple of weeks before the season even starts. And there is not going to be a move that's made 2 weeks out from the season starting. Dylan Larkin will start the season as a Red Wing. He's already been stripped of the C. He does not have the C. The Red Wings do not have a captain right now. And I think that's how it is going to start. There's a chance that Mo Seider gets the captaincy, but it will not be right away. But it will not happen. Nothing will happen like that until the new GM is in Detroit. Whoever that is.
Of course, the Red Wings did have a consecutive playoff appearance streak that was broken, and it's been how many years now, Chris?
Entirely too many. So it was 2014 their last playoff appearance, and they made the playoffs every year I'd been alive for 25 straight years.
Yeah,
and so that's and 2015 was our first time not getting there. So yep, tough road.
It's a tough road ahead. RC, Aaron Donald was one of the most dominant defensive players, but he in the league and retired in 2023. And there is a rumor that Aaron Donald is thinking about a comeback. And with Myles Garrett in LA, is there a possibility that Garrett and Donald will team up? Or how much more dominant can LA be? But, the NFL season's coming up, and I personally haven't heard anything about Donald. And a lot of people are saying that he is, however, capable of another NFL season. But what's taking so long? RC, Aaron Donald will not return to the NFL. Straight facts, bro, relax.
Straight facts. I don't think Aaron Donald wants to play football. I think he's a workout warrior. But when I say that, then he might be pulling a fast one on me and be not wanting to attend training camp because he vocalized that, said he don't like training camp at this age and stage. So he could be trying to swindle his way out of that. But I don't see where there's no guarantee that he plays and they win a Super Bowl. The Super Bowl is in so far, but we've seen only a handful of teams play in their home stadium when it comes to playing in the Super Bowl. But I think he won't play. That's me personally, but it wouldn't surprise me if he did. So I think we can relax on that. Make straight facts. Yeah, straight facts.
It would have been impressive to see Aaron Donald come back, but I mean, we have seen a lot of star players, especially in the NFL, do everything possible to skip training camp and just go right into the regular season. Could the same thing happen with Aaron Donald? Last and certainly not least, Neel, you definitely had a surprise, I suppose, with the New England Patriots, your rival division mate, going to the Super Bowl, and Drake Maye leading that team. And there was a lot of hype around Drake Maye, especially during that run. Could he be the heir apparent to Tom Brady? Or was that just a flash in the pan? Neel, Drake Maye will suffer a down year next season. Straight facts, bro, relax. Oh, you are muted, Neel.
Yeah, I'm going to say straight facts, but that comes in relativity to what his season was last year. If you're considering a down year anything worse than what he had last year, then it's 100% straight facts. Because last year, he was obviously second in MVP voting.
Right.
He lost to Stafford, and it was close. Mm-hmm. But also, he benefited from a pretty healthy year until the playoffs. He remained upright and healthy in the playoffs. He got pretty injured. He was definitely banged up against Denver and then against Seattle. Shoulder, who knows? I'm sure he'll come back from it, but then he becomes a little bit of a fragility situation. Will he stay upright the whole year, especially with their disastrous offensive line? Now, a lot of it will ride on that offensive line. People talk about A.J. Brown coming there. What's more important is his offensive line. And his offensive line is going to determine how many times he actually got the time to throw deep to A.J. in the first place. And so, this guy, Will Campbell, and whoever they drafted in the first round, another OL. Will Campbell is probably a more important player this season than A.J. Brown or even Drake, not Drake Maye, but A.J. Brown anyways, because this guy was the fifth pick in the draft, and he was not ready. And he was a constant kind of, target of defensive rushing attacks or pass rushing attacks. Mm-hmm. And so, I definitely think that he'll have not only, let's not even talk about all the stuff with Vrabel. How much is his line going to be in the game this year? And then on top of all that, they had a cupcake schedule last year. They had a last place schedule last year. A lot of those games were just given to them, and they played a lot of shitty defenses. This year, they're not going to be the same. They're going to get a first place schedule this year. And that's where a lot of things can change. If nothing changes and the only thing that changes is your schedule, you could still go from first in the division to third in the division, no problem. So there's a lot of things I think that are not in Drake Maye's favor of having a year like he did last year, but I still think he has the capability to put up a Pro Bowl year. And for a guy with his talents, just a Pro Bowl year might be a down year compared to competing for an MVP.
I certainly get what you're saying because it was a fantastic near MVP season for Drake Maye. And Wow, it's hard to believe that football season is just over a month away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there it is.
Trying to pull up those
Right on.
fantasy analysis and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, a lot of
What is
people
that?
are going to be crunching the numbers to see for those fantasy teams. You know, guys, before we do cut it off, RC, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you. You've been doing some really great posts of from a motivational aspect, and you know, I'd love to give you a chance to explain. What you've been doing because you know, following you and not just saying this because of you being a friend, but you know, you have some really great insight, and love to hear more about what you're trying to accomplish there.
So, social media is a tool, and if used properly, we can help people. And right now, a lot of people are using it in a way to, to be divisive and cause a lot and spew a lot of negativity and hate. And I just want to do the opposite of that. I feel like, I'm old enough to know what it feels like not to have social media. And you didn't know my business unless I put you in, and you went in my circle unless I put you in my circle. And so I'm trying to create my own circle, my own village of people who kind of, see the world differently than it's being given to us through social media, and understand this is not the only way. I'm talking to three guys from different parts of the country, and we've never formally met, and it's like it's instant chemistry. So that's the power of social media if it's used correctly. And so that's what I'm trying to accomplish. Connect with the right people, because the world isn't. I don't view the world the way the world wants me to view it. So I'm not big on stereotypes and believing everything. I got to go see for myself. So when I talk about Canada, I have a perspective. When I talk about Detroit, I have a perspective now. And so that's what I'm trying to do with accomplish, to combat what negative stuff that's putting out there. I'm trying to say, hey, it's not all what you think it is. So, is it working? Maybe it is. If it's not, I'm doing my best with it, and I feel good about doing it. And I feel like it's necessary.
It certainly is because I believe I'm a couple years older than you, and it just seemed that life was so much easier without social media, and it's such a drug, and it's so addictive, and we just led into these channels where people are left envious and hateful, and there's just gone are those days where just take something at face value and just walk away.
Right.
Everything is just so polarizing, and it's very scary. Like, for a man who doesn't have kids myself, I'm very scared for my nephew's generation, and even for the time that we have left on this planet. It's jobs are getting consolidated. I mean, with AI, in my opinion, so many in terms of mass shootings and a lot of hate. I do believe that it's the same planet, but I think we, especially men, have just taken a step back in terms of our ability to communicate with each other. It's such a shame. And RC, kudos. Like, you're doing some really great work, and I really do hope that your channel flies. RC, I'd love to give you a chance to tell everybody your handle and where they could find you.
Well, all my platforms is 100% RC. Well, Facebook is Ronnie A. Clark, but TikTok is 100% RC, and Instagram is 100% RC. I don't have X. Don't really need any more apps. I'm kind of tired. I'm burnt out. They all doing the same thing. But yeah, man, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook is all the three that I have.
Terrific stuff. Chris, I noticed that you're doing some stuff with regards to gaming, and what do you have going on in the future?
So hopefully more of this. Trying to keep myself relevant in the podcast space like this, and it's been a lot of fun talking sports and being a part of the roundtable here. But typically, I am a gamer at heart. I do some streaming with TikTok, and I do a little bit on the Purple Site Twitch as well. But at the same point, it's I've got a community of people that I play with and I've been playing with for right around 16 years. The guys that I play hockey with, NHL 26 for EA, and the rest of the NHL games since then. That happens on TikTok at @CCurtis3974, first initial, last name 3974, is where you'll find me there. And then do college football, hockey, baseball, a little bit of retro racing, golf, Call of Duty, just a little bit of everything, a little bit of variety. Gets a chance to get to know me, gets me a chance to get to know you. It's TikTok is great for discoverability. So for gaming, it's very underrated, and I'm looking forward to growing that.
Excellent. No, I have a PlayStation myself. Something tells me you could absolutely dust me in any sport, but you know what? I'll see if I could give you a find. And
I'm definitely. I love sports. I play. I've just got into hockey, Chris. So you have to
Nice.
bear with me.
No, I get that. I get that. I do a CFB, college football connected dynasty, with me and 16 other people, and we spin a wheel for a 1-star team, and my 1-star team happens to be Air Force for CFB 27. So I get to build them from the ground up, and we'll see how that goes.
Right.
So awesome stuff.
Yeah.
Neel, I guess when you and I connect again, in terms of social media, that's our little show is basically what either of us are going, unlike these two gentlemen here.
Yeah.
So,
but
yeah,
it's always a good thing.
Oh yeah, hey, it's always a great time talking sports.
And I'm in favor of anything that is a good time, is intellectual, is with good people, and that lets off steam in a healthy way.
Absolutely, 100%
absolutely. Discussion, and yeah, sure, we are using technology, but the fact that we're using our minds and our mouths and, not texting, I think that's a good thing for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Guys, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. For Neel, Katarey, Ronnie, RC Clark, and Chris Curtis, I am Randy Cooray. This is Voice of the Fans Canada. Hope you're doing well and keeping safe. We will talk to you next time.